So I woke up tied like a Christmas turkey, flopping around on a horse's neck. My head was killing me. The horse was bouncing me like a basketball, and something very soft was pressing against my back. Two somethings, actually. Very round somethings. Wait, a woman? No, a bandit woman. Then all these memories hit me like a truck. Turns out I transmigrated. Yeah, you heard me. I was a badass special forces captain back in my world. Took on 20-something enemy agents. Died doing it. And now I'm here, in ancient China, tied up by a lady bandit. Real dignified start to my second life. Before I could even process this nonsense, someone yanked me off the horse by my feet. I hit the ground like a sack of potatoes because, oh right, my hands and feet were tied. Then I heard her voice. Take him to my room. I'm gonna eat his heart to avenge fourth boss. Eat my heart. She also sent a ransom note to my family. 10,000 silver taels in 3 days, or they're tossing my body to the dogs. Classic bandit hospitality. So they hauled me up to the top of the mountain hideout and threw me on the floor like dirty laundry. Once they left, I found a sharp rock and started grinding through the rope. I'm a special forces soldier, people. This is baby stuff. Then I heard footsteps. She came in, locked the door, blocked the windows, put her sword by the entrance. Okay, cool, murder time, right? Wrong. This woman started undressing. Just took it all off. Down to a tiny little undergarment that was fighting for its life, trying to contain what I can only describe as, at least a G-cup situation. I recognized those from the horse ride. Old friends. My brain short-circuited. Is she gonna seduce me? Lady, I'm literally tied up on the floor. At least untie the ropes first. I like to participate. Then the last piece came off too, and wow. Just wow. She was absolutely gorgeous. Curved eyebrows, cute little nose, skin like jade. Body that would make every celebrity back in my world cry into their plastic surgeon's phone. The only flaw? 2 nasty, bloody sword wounds on her shoulder and back. She smeared medicine on the cuts without making a single sound. Just bit down and took it. Hardcore. No wonder she's the boss of a bandit gang full of murderers. This woman is built different. Someone knocked. Boss, dinner's ready. She threw on clothes, opened the door, and started screaming orders about night watch and how she'd skin alive anyone caught drinking. The guy practically peed himself running away. Yeah, she's terrifying. Meanwhile, I kept grinding that rope, nice and slow, matching my breathing so she wouldn't notice. She came back and ate dinner like I wasn't even there. To her, I was just some useless rich kid knocked unconscious. Not even worth a second glance. Finally, snap, the rope broke. But my stupid arm twitched from the sudden freedom. She noticed instantly, pulled a dagger from her boot, and crept toward me like a cat stalking a mouse. I held my breath, listened to her footsteps, counted the distance. The second she got close enough, boom, I exploded up and chopped the back of her neck. She dropped like a rock. I reached out to catch her before she hit the floor and made noise. Grabbed her clothes. Except, her body just slipped right out of them, like a wet fish out of a bag. I looked at my hand holding her empty clothes. Then I looked down at her on the ground. Completely. Absolutely. Well, crap. All right, first things first. I tied her up on the bed. And no, I couldn't let her get dressed. I'm not running a spa here. I'm trying to survive. Did some things get accidentally touched during the process? Look, physics is physics. Gravity exists. I'm not apologizing. I even gave her the full deluxe rope treatment. Hands, feet, the whole turtle shell bind. Can't have her busting out with some ancient kung fu nonsense. I sat down to catch my breath and honestly, this body is pathetic. One little neck chop and I'm winded like I ran a marathon. My old body could bench press a truck. This one gets tired opening jars. Serious training needed ASAP. Spotted a chicken leg on the table. Don't mind if I do. Finders keepers, lady. You did say you wanted to eat my heart, so consider this payback. Then a very important thought hit me. I yanked open my pants and checked downstairs. Deep exhale of relief. Still competitive. Crisis averted. A man has priorities. So, piecing together the memories. This place is called Green Dragon Stronghold. Apparently their fourth boss got killed raiding my family's birthday party because the local magistrate happened to be there with a bunch of officers. Arrows happened. Fourth boss died. Big boss lady came for revenge, and lucky me got snatched. But here's the suspicious part. Someone in my own household told me to wait at the gate right before the bandits showed up. Second madam wants to see you, they said. Second madam never showed. Bandits did. That's not coincidence. That's a setup. Someone wanted me dead using bandits as the murder weapon. Oh, you sneaky backstabbing family members. Just you wait. I'm coming home eventually, and there are no laws here. No court, no lawyers, no Geneva Convention. Just me and creative violence. Actually, being a bandit chief doesn't sound half bad either. Freedom, mountains, fresh air. The lady was waking up already? I hit her hard enough for a 4-hour nap. This garbage body can't even knock someone out properly, and she's clearly got some serious martial arts conditioning. She opened her eyes, realized she was tied up and very much not clothed, and looked at me like she wanted to murder my entire bloodline. I waved her own dagger in front of her face and gave her a friendly reminder about our new power dynamic. Her attitude adjusted real quick. Eyes went sideways. Smart girl. I pulled the gag out to ask questions. First thing she said, "You drugged me, you bastard." Drugged? Lady, I just got here. I was unconscious on your horse 20 minutes ago. When would I have had time to drug anyone? I asked her about a secret path down the mountain. Every bandit boss has a back door. That's villainy 101. She refused. Bit her own lip bloody just to prove how stubborn she was. Fine. Hard way it is. I blew out the lamp. Let's just say, what happened next involved some aggressive negotiation, and the bed started making noises that beds make when there's a vigorous exchange of strategic information. I plead the fifth. Half an hour later, I got dressed and climbed off the bed. Would have kept going honestly, but her shoulder and back wounds ripped open and she was bleeding from multiple locations. She looked like she was about to pass out permanently, so I figured maybe I should stop. But something bugged me. Why did I lose control like that? And why was SHE so into it? Neither of us should have been acting that crazy. I looked at the food on the table. Oh, someone drugged the food. So Green Dragon Stronghold has a RAT. Lovely. This place is a mess even by bandit standards. She was cursing me out from the bed. I'll kill you. But she could barely whisper, let alone stand. I cut her ropes loose because honestly, she was about as threatening as a wet noodle at that point. I told her straight up, like it or not, you're my woman now. I'll protect you. She stared at me like I'd grown a second head. Who are you? No pampered rich boy fights like that. Fair point. But before I could explain my whole reincarnated super soldier backstory, I heard footsteps outside. 4 or 5 people, creeping around in the dark. I grabbed the sword by the door and waited. Some pro slid a knife through the door crack and started nudging the bolt open, smooth, almost silent. Okay, these aren't amateurs. The bolt slid free. Door cracked open and nobody came in. Instead, they tossed in sleeping smoke bombs, then quietly closed the door again. Are you kidding me? Drugged food and knockout gas. These guys came prepared. This was planned from the start. The aphrodisiac in the food, the late-night ambush, all of it. I pinched out the smoke sticks and kept waiting. Rule number 1 of Special Forces. Never attack when the enemy expects it. Let them come to you when they think they've already won. Then I heard them whispering outside. Think she's out yet? Wait longer. That woman fights like a demon. Tonight she's mine. After I'm done, you guys can have your turn. On the bed, the bandit lady was shaking with rage. She recognized the voice, some scumbag named Gully, boss of a rival gang called Ox Mountain. How did he sneak in here? How did he know exactly which room she was in? Someone sold her out. The door swung open. 2 guys stepped in. Their second foot never touched the ground. One swing. 2 legs hit the floor, without their owners. This sword was insane. Cut through bone like butter. I didn't even feel resistance. Nice blade, I said, genuinely impressed. I finished those 2 off quick, then charged outside. 3 more guys were standing there with their jaws on the floor. They did not expect a random dude with a sword instead of an unconscious woman. Meanwhile, lights were flickering on across the stronghold. People were waking up. Quick, set the fires, one of them yelled. One guy ran off to torch the buildings. Apparently they'd pre-soaked them with oil because those things went up like gasoline. The other 2 came at me. Fighting 3 guys with a big sword while running on fumes wasn't ideal. My body was already sore from earlier athletic activities, and this week rich kid physique was hitting its limit. I was slowing down, but they weren't interested in finishing the fight either. Few fake swings, and all 3 bolted. I was about to chase them when I heard it. war cries from below. Hundreds of torches pouring up the mountain like a river of fire. Someone was invading the stronghold. Because of course they were. Why would anything be simple? Why would I get even 5 minutes of peace in this stupid new life? Boss, Ox Mountain is attacking. A dozen bandits came sprinting toward the lady boss's place and found me standing at the door holding a big bloody sword. Their brains practically short-circuited. Last they checked, I was a tied-up rich kid about to get my heart carved out. Now I'm here looking like a horror movie villain. They heard screams earlier and assumed it was me getting murdered. But wait, I'm alive. So who screamed? Was it the boss? Their faces were priceless. Your boss says get down there, put out fires, and fight. I barked at them. They didn't buy it. Fair enough. 3 hours ago I was cargo. Then from inside the room, the lady boss herself yelled, "Do what he says, you idiots." That shut everyone up real fast. Gotta hand it to her. Half dead, bleeding everywhere, voice still terrifying. I closed her door and grabbed a few guys. You're with me. Let's go. We chased the Ox Mountain guys to the back cliff and found a hidden rope going down the mountainside. 3 guys were climbing down, including Gu Li, the Ox Mountain boss himself. One of my bandits started screaming about it. I kicked him. You want them to climb faster? Shut up. I bit the sword, grabbed the rope, and jumped off the cliff. The guys watching from the top looked like their eyeballs were going to fall out. I slid down that rope like a fireman on a pole, special forces rappelling technique. Baby, landed on a dead pine tree where the climbers were resting, and stomped it with everything I had. All 3 guys lost their footing. The last one screamed the whole way down into the darkness. Splat. The other 2 scrambled onto a narrow path and barely survived. Then the pine tree cracked under me. Oh no. I lunged for the rope just as the entire tree snapped in half and tumbled into the abyss. That was uncomfortably close to being my second death in 2 lifetimes. I hung there in midair, one hand on the rope, other hand holding a giant sword, staring down at Gu Li on his little ledge. He stared back at me. I gave him my best. I will find you, and I will kill you face. He literally crawled away in terror. Scrambled down that mountain path like a frightened crab. I thought about throwing the sword at him, but the range was bad, and I really liked this sword. Some things aren't worth the risk. Climbed back up. The bandits waiting at the top immediately dropped to their knees. Not because I asked, they just did. Apparently watching a guy swan dive off a cliff, kick a tree in half, scare away a rival gang boss, and casually dangle over a death drop does something to people's respect levels. Get up. Grab your weapons. Follow me. We charged toward the front of the stronghold. Total chaos. Fires everywhere. Bandits running around like headless chickens. Some fighting, some panicking, nobody coordinating. Except one guy, a big fat dude swinging a sword, personally holding the main gate with a group of fighters. Respect. He was loud, angry, and effective, but enemies had already gotten inside and were setting fires everywhere. Fatty was screaming for backup that wasn't coming. Enter me. I organized my little squad into a tactical unit. Swordsmen up front, archers in back. We moved through the stronghold as one group, clearing enemies systematically. 1 on the left, shoot him. 2 on the right, charge. Clean, efficient, textbook special forces room clearing adapted for ancient mountain warfare. We mopped up every Ox Mountain fighter inside the walls, then hit the main gate. I ordered everyone to find high ground and rain arrows down. After 2 volleys, we ran out of arrows. No problem. Throw whatever you've got. Anything. Someone looked around, shrugged, and threw a dead body off the wall. It worked beautifully. Bowling strike from heaven. Bodies raining down, attackers scattering like roaches. Fatty saw this and lost his mind with joy. Why didn't anyone say so earlier? Boys, throw everything. Crush these dogs. Rocks, furniture, corpses, everything went flying. Ox Mountain's forces retreated down the hill in total defeat. Fatty was laughing his head off, turned around, and finally noticed Emmy, standing next to him covered in blood, holding a giant sword. What the? Who the hell are you? So Fatty, the third boss, nearly had a heart attack when he saw me. Was about to chop first. Ask questions never, but one of the guys I'd been leading grabbed him. Wait, he's with the big boss. He's the one who killed Ox Mountain's guys and organized the whole defense just now. Fatty blinked. Then I opened my big mouth. I looked at the gate. Perfect high ground, steep cliffs on all sides, one narrow path up. A literal fortress. You could hold this with 5 guys and a bucket of rocks. And somehow enemies got inside. You have the best defensive position I've ever seen, I said, and you still let them in. Impressive, honestly. Fatty's face went from confused to purple. Who the hell do you think you are? Grab him. I put the sword on his neck before anyone moved an inch. Gotta admire your courage, big guy. Standing this close to me and still running your mouth. Truly fearless. Or brainless. Hard to tell. He puffed up like an angry balloon. Fight me one-on-one. We literally just survived an invasion 30 seconds ago, and your first thought is a duel? You don't have many brain cells, do you? But I respect the energy. Then Scarface showed up. Tall guy, nasty scar across his face, smooth talker. Had to be the second boss. Interesting how he was nowhere during the actual fighting, but magically appeared now that it's safe. Real convenient. He gave me the snake oil smile. Now, this young man helped us. He's clearly on our side. Then he recognized me. Aren't you the Shen family's third young master? Fatty exploded. Shen family? Those bastards got fourth boss killed. I'll RIP his head off. He charged me swinging. I sidestepped, smacked him across the back with the flat of my blade, and he face-planted into the dirt. Sword went flying. Very graceful. Did he learn his lesson? Nope. Came back swinging his bare fists. So I started whacking his knuckles with the back of the blade. Every punch, clang. Punch, clang. He was howling like a cat in a washing machine, but kept coming. Gotta respect the commitment to stupidity. Finally, I caught an opening, landed a textbook-high roundhouse kick to his head, and down he went. You can't beat me. Don't make me kill you. Every bandit in the place went dead silent. Fatty was their best fighter. Nobody could take him except the big boss herself. And I just dropped him like a sack of rice. Then Scarface turned cold. This is Green Dragon territory. You think you can just act like you own the place? Bandits started surrounding me with swords. Great. Math time. Can I kill Scarface and Fatty before 100 guys carve me up? Maybe. This body's reaction time is garbage though. Do I go for the strong one first, or the smart one? I raised my sword. Stop. Everyone froze. The crowd parted like the Red Sea. There she was. Lady Boss. Walking toward me despite being half dead and held together with bandages and sheer willpower. She looked at Fatty on the ground, looked at Scarface being sketchy, then looked at me, and her eyes were literally on fire. I thought, oh no, she's gonna disown me. After everything. One night of passion, and she's gonna throw me to the wolves. I tightened my grip on the sword. Fine. Time to fight my way out of a mountain full of bandits. What a great Tuesday this turned out to be. Then she spoke, grinding her teeth so hard I could hear the enamel cracking. From today, this man is Green Dragon Stronghold's new fourth boss. I blinked. Did I just get promoted? From kidnapping victim to bandit chief in one night. My resume is going to be wild. Back in the lady boss's room. Cozy. If by cozy you mean trapped in a room with a woman who wants to skin me alive. Why did you follow me? And give me back my sword, charming as always. I leaned against the door with the blade. So let me get this straight. The previous fourth boss got killed because of my family. And your brilliant plan is to make me, a Shen family member, the new fourth boss? Are you trying to get me murdered in my sleep? Don't push your luck, she hissed. You think you'd walk out of here alive otherwise? Honestly? Yeah. But please, go ahead and try. It'll be entertaining. I sat down at the table. I was exhausted. Let me recap my evening. Got transmigrated, got kidnapped, got drugged, got intimate, fought assassins on a cliff, led a battle, beat up Fatty, got promoted to bandit boss. All in about 4 hours. I hadn't even had a proper glass of water. I reached for the tea, then remembered. Oh right, these people drug everything, and put it back down. Stop glaring at me, I said. Let's talk. You should want to kill me right now, so why didn't you? She sat on the edge of the bed, keeping a careful distance. Because I know what happened wasn't entirely your fault. And if you hadn't been there, Ox Mountain would have destroyed everything. I can hate you and still be reasonable. I was actually impressed. This woman just went through the worst night of her life, and she's already thinking strategically. Cold, calculated, rational. Scary, honestly. What's your name? She looked surprised, like nobody had ever asked. Ling Qiujuan. I'm Shen San, just Shen San. No fancy family name. In this body's memories, my mother was a servant who got knocked up after the family head had too much wine. The kid born from that didn't even deserve a real name. Just third. Like a number, not a person. I told Ling Qiujuan about the back cliff. How Ox Mountain's boss used a rope to climb up from behind. Her eyes went ice cold instantly. I knew it. Only one person in this stronghold knows about that path. She tried to stand up dramatically, but immediately collapsed back onto the bed. Then glared at me like it was my fault her legs didn't work. Don't look at me like that. I'm not happy about tonight either. My first time with a woman and I was drugged. You think that's how I wanted it to go? When I find whoever spiked that food, I'm chopping off their hands. She went quiet, thinking hard. The traitor had to be second boss, Scarface. He controlled the scouts who should have warned about Ox Mountain's approach. He sent the guy who delivered the drugged food. He knew about the secret path, and he conveniently vanished during the entire battle. You know who did it, don't you? I asked. I have suspicions, but no proof. I burst out laughing. What's so funny? You're a bandit queen, and you're talking about evidence? What is this, a courtroom? Are you secretly an undercover cop? Just 3 more years, and I'll crack the case. She looked at me like I'd lost my mind. Fair. Listen, I said, dropping the smile. You don't act like a bandit at all. A real bandit doesn't need proof. I say he did it. He did it. He says he didn't? I don't care. Don't like it? I kill you. That's how bandits work. You don't need evidence. You need a sword and the will to use it. That is what it means to be a bandit. I proposed a deal to Ling Qiujuan. Well, SHE proposed a deal to me. If we team up, we can take out second boss. I'll make you second boss instead. And I'll never raid your Shen family again. I laughed. You're trying to bribe me with the Shen family's safety? I'm the unwanted bastard child of a servant woman. They didn't even give me a name. Just third. Like a parking spot. You think I care about their stuff? She looked thrown off. Good. Then I walked toward the bed. What are you doing? She jumped up like a startled cat, immediately wincing because, well, certain areas were still very much out of commission. Relax. I'm tired. I'm sleeping. I flopped onto the bed fully clothed and stretched out. She stared at me like I'd lost my mind. You're not afraid I'll kill you in your sleep? If you wanted me dead, you wouldn't have brought me here. Besides, this is literally the only safe place in the entire stronghold. Every other room has someone who wants to stab me. Your room is the one place nobody dares enter uninvited. I closed my eyes. Was snoring within 30 seconds. Look, I know it sounds insane. Falling asleep next to a woman who swore to eat my heart 3 hours ago. But I'm a soldier. You learn to sleep when you can, where you can. And honestly, after transmigrating, getting kidnapped, getting drugged, having my first time under chemical influence, fighting assassins on a cliff, leading a battle, and getting promoted to bandit chief, all in one night, my body was done negotiating. Now here's the part one didn't know about until later, but it's too good not to share. While I was peacefully dreaming, Scarface, second boss Lu Chong, was having a meltdown in his room. His entire scheme had fallen apart. See, this genius had made a deal with Guli, the Ox Mountain boss, sneak in, assault Ling Qiujuan, destroy her authority, and Lu Chong takes over as top dog. He drugged the food, told Guli about the secret back path, set up the whole thing. But Guli got greedy and brought an army to take the whole stronghold. And then some random guy ruined everything. Lu Chong was pacing around panicking about getting exposed when Fatty, third boss Wang Mang, showed up at his door, still fuming about me embarrassing him. And this is where Lu Chong proved he's actually dangerous. He started feeding Fatty a carefully edited version of the night's events. Isn't it suspicious that the night Shen San arrives, we get attacked? Who let them in? The guards were Big Boss's people. How'd they fail? And why was Big Boss hiding in her room the whole time? And now Shen San is sleeping in her room. He basically painted me as the inside man and Ling Qiujuan as my accomplice. And Fatty, bless his angry, simple heart, bought every word. I'll kill him. Fatty jumped up to go murder me right then, but Lu Chong pulled him back. Not now, genius. He's in Big Boss's room. Wait until the morning meeting. I'll publicly accuse him. You find the right moment, and just finish it. Even if Big Boss tries to protect him, dead is dead. Deal. So that's the situation. I'm asleep on a bandit queen's bed, blissfully unaware that tomorrow morning, a scheming snake and an angry meatball are planning to publicly frame me and then chop my head off at breakfast. This new life is great. Really loving the work-life balance. She kicked me out at the crack of dawn. Didn't even get breakfast. Just get out and a door slam. Lovely morning routine for a new couple. Nowhere to go. The whole stronghold was still asleep, so I wandered over to a well. A well. In a bandit fortress on top of a mountain. Say what you want about Green Dragon Stronghold. The real estate is premium. Water supply, high ground, defensible terrain. If this place had Wi-Fi, I'd never leave. I splashed freezing water on my face and sat down cross-legged to meditate. Old habit. After every mission, I do this to calm down the combat brain. A soldier who stays wound up gets sloppy. You need to be still water until the moment you become a hornet sting. That's how you survive. I thought about everything. My old life, dying because I underestimated those sneaky agents. This new life, waking up on a horse with boobs on my back. Every transmigration novel I ever read, the guy gets some golden cheat ability. Super strength, magical system, ancient grandpa living in a ring. What did I get? A malnourished body with no name, a family that hates me, and a bandit queen whose heart I stole in the worst possible way. I dug through this body's memories. Rough stuff. Mom was a servant. Got pregnant after the family head had too much wine. They let her stay as a concubine, but barely. No respect, no money, constant bullying. She raised this kid alone through pure suffering, and then the family had her killed anyway. Real heartwarming stuff. So I go back. That family is garbage. But this woman gave me her body, her son's body, a second chance at life. That's a debt. Her unfinished grudges? I'll settle them. Her unfinished love? I'll honor it. From today, I am Shen San. Not borrowing the name. Owning it. I opened my eyes feeling like a new man. Clear head, calm heart, purpose locked in. Time to go be a bandit boss. The meeting hall. All the big shots sitting around like the world's most dysfunctional board of directors. Ling Qiujuan sat center on a tiger-skin throne, looking flawless despite zero sleep. Respect. Scarface Lu Chong, second boss, sat below her sipping tea with the calm energy of a man who definitely has a murder plan for today. Fatty Wong Mang, third boss, sat across from me picking his nose with a finger the size of a radish, glaring at me between excavations. Subtle. I was polishing my sword. Ling Qiujuan's sword, technically. The fact that I had the big boss's personal weapon was making everyone's imagination run wild. Fifth boss, pockmark-faced guy, kept staring at the blade like it was a tabloid headline. Sixth boss, tall, skinny, silent, sat next to me staring at the floor, occasionally sneaking glances at Ling Qiujuan. Somebody's got a crush. Ling Qiujuan opened the meeting. Last night, Ox Mountain nearly destroyed us. We lost people. What do we do about it? Good question. Terrible audience. Then Lu Chong set down his tea with the smugness of a man about to light a fuse. Before we deal with Ox Mountain, shouldn't we deal with the spy inside our walls first? Oh boy. Here we go. The snake makes his move. I watch Scarface sip his tea and do his little speech. Classic villain monologue. Who's the spy? How did they get in? Isn't it suspicious? All pointed right at me. I almost admired it. The actual traitor, accusing me of being the traitor. Bold strategy. Then he turned to me directly. Care to explain, young Master Shun? The night we raided your family, there was an ambush waiting. And someone with your skills wouldn't get captured so easily. Then you show up, become big bosses. Personal friend. And suddenly we get attacked? Explain that. Clever. He skipped every detail that pointed to himself. The back mountain path, the drugged food, and only highlighted the coincidences that made me look guilty. I noticed Fatty shifting in his seat across from me, something bulging under his shirt. He had a hidden weapon. These two planned this. Fine. You want to play? Let's play. Traitor. Fatty bellowed on cue. Get him. He pulled a dagger and lunged at me. Bandits flooded in from outside, prepositioned, obviously. This whole meeting was a trap. I blocked his dagger with my sword, then kicked him in the kneecap so hard his whole leg went numb. Down he went. Now here's where Scarface made his fatal mistake. He thought surrounding me with bodies meant I'd surrender. He thought numbers meant safety. He forgot one thing. I'm not the kind of guy who plays defense. You call me stupid? I said to Fatty on the ground. You couldn't plan a picnic without someone telling you what to pack. Then I turned to Scarface. And you? Your scheme wasn't even clever. The back path? Only an insider would know. The drugged food? Your man delivered it. You want to frame me? Mid-sentence, I swung. One clean cut across Lu Chong's body. He looked down at himself like he couldn't believe it. Dropped like a puppet with cut strings. Everyone in the room froze. 50 armed bandits, and not one moved. Because they just watched a surrounded man casually murder the second boss mid-conversation without breaking a sweat. Ling Qiujuan's eyes were dinner plates. Even SHE didn't see that coming. She'd expected arguments, politics, maybe a fist fight, not instant execution. Fifth boss, pockmarked face, stood up immediately. You know, I always thought second boss was suspicious. Fourth boss did the right thing. Right, sixth boss? Silent skinny guy nodded. Politics. Gotta love it. The rats always know which ship is sinking. Fatty was on the ground, clutching his knee, staring at Lu Chang's body. You killed him? I picked up Fatty's dagger and tested the edge with my thumb. Nice blade, actually. Wasted on an idiot. Then I walked over to Lu Chang, who was still barely alive, eyes wide with terror. I heard Big Boss likes to eat hearts, I said casually. Consider this my welcoming gift. I stabbed the dagger into his chest, twisted it around, punched my fist in, and pulled out his still warm heart. Then I tossed it up to Ling Qiujuan like a baseball. Save it for drinks tonight. Half the room collapsed. Grown men, hardened criminals, fainted on the spot. The ones still standing looked like they'd seen a ghost, which, technically, they sort of had. I'd just barehanded a man's heart out while making dinner recommendations. The bandits who'd charged in as Lu Chang's backup, standing completely still, very glad they hesitated at the door instead of rushing me. Everyone who was part of this little conspiracy, step forward now. If I have to find you myself, you won't enjoy it. 30 or 40 guys dropped to their knees so fast the floor shook. Second boss made us do it. He told us to come up from the mountain early. He told me to spy on Big Boss. He ordered us not to fight the Ox Mountain guys. Please don't take our hearts. See, with bandits, being reasonable gets you laughed at. Being fair gets you stabbed. You have to be scarier than they are. That's the only language they understand. You all work for me now. And if anyone gets creative ideas, I held up my bloody hand. I've developed a new hobby. I let them live. Couldn't exactly kill 40 people. There'd be nobody left to boss around. At that point, I really would be an undercover cop who accidentally destroyed the whole operation. Then a guy burst through the doors, gasping for air. Big Boss. Big Boss. Ox Mountain's army is back. They're at the bottom of the... He saw the blood. The body. The kneeling men. My dripping hand. His brain blue-screened. Welcome to the morning meeting at Green Dragon Stronghold. Never a dull moment. Ox Mountain was back. Again. Like a mosquito that doesn't know when to quit. Ling Qiujuan was ready to march down and fight them head-on. Classic bandit move. Someone shows up at your door, you go punch them. No, I said. Every jaw in the room dropped. Nobody tells the Big Boss. No, they're sitting at the bottom on purpose. They want us to come down. We'd be giving up the best defensive terrain I've ever seen to walk into whatever trap they've set up. Let them sit there. Let them get bored. Let them get sunburned. Ling Qiujuan blinked. Then nodded. He's right. Going down is stupid. The bandits looked at me like I was some kind of wizard. A guy who can change the Big Boss's mind. Witchcraft. Then Fatty piped up from his chair, still rubbing his busted knee. So we just hide? Like cowards? People will call us turtles. Who said we're not fighting? I grinned. Now Ling Qiujuan was confused. You just said don't fight. Now you're saying fight. Which is it? Think about it. They brought everyone down there. Their whole army is parked outside our mountain. Which means right now, Ox Mountain's base is basically an empty house with the door wide open. I let that sink in. They came to rob us? Cool. We rob them. I take a small team, sneak down the back, hit their undefended base. When they see smoke rising from home, they'll panic and retreat. That's when you guys charge downhill and slaughter them from behind while they're running. Fifth boss jumped up instantly. Brilliant. Big Boss, this plan is gold. What a suck-up. Love him already. Ling Qiujuan frowned. The back mountain path is broken, though. The tree snapped last night, remember? Broken for climbing up, I corrected. Going down is a different story. Gravity's on our side. I need 15 guys with guts. Who's coming? Dead silence. Crickets. Tumbleweeds. Then, of all people, Fatty slammed the table and stood up on his wobbly leg. I'll go. What are you all, cowards? I looked at him. Looked at his belly. Looked at the cliff we'd be rappelling down. You? Nah. Your body type is logistically challenging. What's wrong with my body type? I'm not fat. I'm dense. This is muscle. Sure, buddy. Sure it is. The guys who fought with me last night stepped forward. Then a few more volunteered. 15 total. Good enough. Drop the big swords. Short blades only. And grab every drop of oil in this entire stronghold. We're traveling light and burning heavy. I handed my beautiful sword back to Ling Qiujuan. Hold on to this. And I'm only lending it to you. It's still mine. She rolled her eyes so hard I thought they'd get stuck. Before leaving, I pointed at Fatty. When you charge downhill, kill as many as you can, but do not chase them all the way to Ox Mountain. Hit and retreat. If you get greedy, you'll be the ones who are trapped. Got it, Fatty? His name is literally Wang Mang. Wang the Reckless. So yeah, I was worried. Let's move. 15 guys, short knives, and a whole lot of fire oil. Time to go burn down a rival gang's house while they're away. This is the most fun I've had since ever. My old life was all rules and orders. This life, pure creative chaos. Back at the meeting hall, Fatty was already complaining about me the second I left. Big boss, who even is this guy? You just let him walk off with our men? What if something goes wrong? Ling Qiujuan shut him down. We have bigger problems than your bruised ego, third boss. Then Fatty muttered something under his breath. Something about me being her. Boy toy, oh Fatty. Sweet, stupid Fatty. What did you just say? Ling Qiujuan's voice could have peeled paint off walls. Say it again. I'll RIP your mouth off. Fatty backpedaled so fast, he almost fell over. Nothing. I said nothing. I was just saying, can 15 guys really take Ox Mountain? Seems ambitious. See, here's the thing about Fatty. He's terrified of Ling Qiujuan. Last time they sparred, she nearly beat him to death. One of her can fight two of him. The man picks fights with everyone except the one person who can actually destroy him. Smart survival instincts, terrible everywhere else. Even sixth boss, the tall silent one, spoke up for once. 15 men attacking a whole stronghold? The new fourth boss might be overconfident. Ling Qiujuan cut everyone off. He's already gone. Worrying is useless. Everyone get ready. Guard the gate. Nobody moves until Ox Mountain retreats. Fatty, prepare the horses. Good girl. She trusts the plan. Or she's too stubborn to admit it might fail. Either works. Meanwhile, I was standing at the cliff edge with 15 guys staring down into the abyss. Fourth boss. The tree is gone. How do we get across? Monkey asked. We swing. Silence. We what? I tied a big knot at the bottom of the rope for grip, climbed down, shimmied along the cliff face to get a good angle, kicked off the rock wall, and swung across the gap like freaking Tarzan. Landed perfectly on the path on the other side. See? Easy. It was not easy. But confidence is half the battle. Monkey went next. Poor guy was shaking like a leaf. He made it across, but landed like a sack of potatoes thrown from a truck. Face first. Into rock. I'm alive. I actually made it. He was so excited he forgot he was bleeding. One by one they all swung across. One dude's hands were so sweaty he let go early and almost became a pancake. We grabbed him at the last second, dangling over the void. 6 guys pulling him up by his arms. Everyone made it. 15 for 15. Not bad for a team of bandits who've never done anything resembling actual tactical movement. Monkey, lead the way to Ox Mountain. Move. Now. Down at the bottom of our mountain, Ox Mountain's boss Guli was sitting on his horse having a terrible time. He'd been waiting for half an hour for us to come down and fight. Nobody came. His butt hurt from the saddle. He was fidgeting. At one point he hopped off the horse, and, when nobody was looking, reached back and adjusted his pants. Real dignified leadership moment there. Guli, why won't they come out? This is a proper challenge. They have to respond. It's the rules. His new secret weapon sat beside him. Some guy named Wang Ba, Ox Mountain's #1 fighter, former martial arts instructor for some nobleman. Got caught sleeping with the nobleman's concubine, killed his way out, ended up here. Classic career trajectory. This guy was carrying a giant bronze staff and talking mad trash. Just let them come down. Nobody can beat me. Especially not that mystery guy who scared you. Gully nodded smugly. They're probably too afraid. They fought the government and us in 2 days. They've got nothing left. He told his hidden ambush troops to stay ready. So to summarize, Gully's sitting at my front door with his entire army, waiting for a fight that's never coming, while I'm sneaking around the back with 15 guys and a wagon of fire oil headed straight for his empty house. This is going to be beautiful. We made it to Ox Mountain. And let me tell you, what a disappointment of a fortress. No cliffs. No strategic terrain. Just a fat mountain with a lot of trees. Compared to Green Dragon's stronghold, this place was a cardboard box with delusions of grandeur. The only thing it had going for it was thick forest cover. Fourth boss, there are two paths up, the main road and a small trail. Which one? Neither. Both have guards. The bandits looked at me like I was crazy. We're mountain bandits. Walking through forests is literally our job description. Follow me. Step exactly where I step. I plunged into the woods. Autumn leaves everywhere, ankle deep in dead foliage. This was my element. Years of border missions in jungle terrain. This little hill was a Sunday stroll. Behind me, total disaster. These mountain bandits were crashing through the brush like drunk elephants. Within minutes they were falling behind, gasping, tripping, grabbing trees for support. I looked back and they were practically crawling. Mountain bandits. Can't even climb a mountain quietly. The irony was killing me. We reached the stronghold wall. Big, impressive, sharpened logs driven into the ground, smooth surface, for meters high. Monkey was panting like a dying fish. How do we get over that? We don't. I looked at the size of this place. Easily 5 or 6 times bigger than Green Dragon. 500 people minimum. 15 of us taking this place. Absolutely not. New plan. Forget capturing it. We're burning it down. Open the oil. Throw everything over the wall. Bamboo tubes of fire oil went sailing over the fence. I could hear confused shouting inside. They heard something, but had no idea what was coming. Light it up. Now here's where ancient technology nearly ruined everything. You know how in my old life you just flick a lighter? Here, Monkey had to kneel on the ground, put out some dried mugwort fluff, and bang rocks together to make sparks. Bang, bang, bang. I'm standing there, enemy voices getting louder, fire oil dripping everywhere, and this guy is playing caveman percussion. Finally a spark caught. Torches lit. Everyone threw them over the wall. Whoosh. The fire oil did its thing beautifully. Instant inferno. But some of the oil had splashed on our side during the throwing, and now the forest near us was catching fire too. Oh, that's not ideal. Actually, wait. Light the whole forest. Kick the leaves toward the fire. Spread it, autumn. Dry leaves, dry branches. Months of accumulated dead foliage. This forest was basically a giant pile of kindling begging to burn. Now run. Downhill. Go, go, go. We flew down that mountain. Gravity plus terror equals Olympic sprint speed. Guys were tumbling, rolling, smashing into trees. Nobody cared. Behind us, the entire mountainside was turning into a wall of orange. At the bottom, everyone was grinning through bloody noses and bruised faces. That was amazing. We burned the whole mountain. Calm down. We're not done. I held up a vine, nasty stuff covered in tiny thorns. Farmers call it cutting grass because it slices skin on contact. Incredibly tough. Nature's barbed wire. Grab as much as you can. They'll send riders down to get help the second they realize what happened. We stretch this across the road, tangle the horses, and steal their rides home. Monkey looked at me like I was some kind of evil genius. Which, fair. Plus, I added, I am not walking 20 miles back to Green Dragon. My legs are done. Everyone scattered, ripped up armfuls of vines, and hit on both sides of the trail. Right on schedule, hoofbeats from above. A dozen riders came thundering down the mountain path in full panic mode. Showtime. The ambush worked perfectly. Those riders came thundering down the trail, and, wham, walls of thorny vine hit them from both sides. Horses tripped, men flew off saddles, swords scattered everywhere. The vines wrapped around everything like nature's own barbed wire net. The more they struggled, the deeper the thorns dug in. We grabbed their swords off the ground, did what needed doing, dragged the evidence into the bushes, stole their horses, and vanished. The whole thing took maybe 2 minutes. By the time the guys running down on foot reached the bottom, we were gone. Fourth boss, Monkey was practically vibrating on his horse. Fighting with you is the best thing ever. My life is yours. Forever. Keep your life. Just don't be stupid and you'll keep it longer. So, back to the stronghold for the pincer attack. Are you insane? The entire Ox Mountain army is between us and home. 15 guys smashing into 500 is not a pincer attack. It's a funeral. No, we're going to Shen Village. Shen Village? Why? Because somebody in that family set me up to die. And my mother, well, this body's mother, is still there, suffering. I made a promise this morning. Her son gave me this second life. I owe him. Time to collect some debts and bring Mom home. Meanwhile, back at Green Dragon Mountain, my plan was working beautifully without me even being there. Guli and his entire army had been standing at the bottom of our mountain for over an hour. Nobody came down. Not a single soul. These guys traveled all this way for a fight, and we basically left them on. Reed, Guli was fuming. His new hotshot fighter Wang Ba, the guy who got kicked out of a nobleman's house for sleeping with the wrong woman, was losing his mind from boredom. Let me go up there. I'll smash through their defenses alone. Guli was about to agree when someone screamed, "Boss, look!" Everyone turned. On the horizon, in the direction of Ox Mountain, massive black clouds of smoke, rolling, churning, filling the entire sky. Guli's face went from angry to white in about half a second. That's not. Boss. That's our mountain." Then 5 guys came stumbling out of the woods, covered head to toe in soot, coughing, crying. "The base is on fire. The whole mountain is on fire. Come back." Who did this? We don't know. There was nobody. Everything burned. Guli nearly fainted. He came here to burn us down, and instead his entire home was a bonfire. The man looked like someone told him his dog ate his retirement savings. Everyone turn around. Now. Kill anyone in the way. The entire Ox Mountain army scrambled and bolted toward home. Up on Green Dragon, Fatty had been complaining for an hour. "I told you that Shen San was all talk. Nothing's happening. We look like cowards hiding up here." Even Ling Qiujuan was starting to worry. It had been a long time with no signal. Then a scout came sprinting up the mountain. "Big boss. They're running. All of them. Ox Mountain is retreating. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how 15 guys with bamboo tubes of cooking oil and some weeds defeated an army of 500. You're welcome. While I was off having my little adventure, things back at Green Dragon went exactly as planned. Ling Qiujuan saw the smoke rising from Ox Mountain's direction and nearly fell over. "He actually did it, Fatty. Go. Now. Chase them down." Wang Meng didn't need to be told twice. He jumped on a horse and led the charge downhill like a screaming cannonball. Ox Mountain's army was already panicking. Their boss Guli had galloped ahead with the cavalry, leaving the foot soldiers in total disarray. No formation, no leadership, just hundreds of terrified bandits running for home. Fatty and the boys carved through them like a hot knife through butter. Over 100 Ox Mountain fighters went down. The rest ran so fast they probably invented new land speed records. Fatty chased them all the way to Ox Mountain's territory before finally stopping. "Listen up, Ox Mountain losers. Come near Green Dragon again, and I'll personally feed you your own teeth." For the first time in years, Green Dragon Stronghold had completely humiliated Ox Mountain. Fatty was on cloud 9. They looted every weapon off the fallen enemies, swords, knives, bows, and hauled it all back up the mountain like kids after Halloween. This was actually huge. Green Dragon was poor. Like, embarrassingly poor. Almost 200 people and less than 100 swords between them. Half the gang was fighting with wooden sticks and farm tools. This world was a mess. The Dacian Empire was falling apart. The Emperor was a drunk playboy, barbarians attacking from 3 directions, corrupt officials everywhere, regular people starving. Being a bandit sounded cool, but the reality was basically poverty with extra violence. So a pile of free weapons? Christmas morning. But then Ling Qiujuan asked the question, "Where's Shen San?" Fatty blinked. "He's not back. Nope. Not back. Not a sign of us." See, I wasn't headed home. I took my crew to Shen Village instead. But nobody at Green Dragon knew that. All they knew was, the guys who just set a mountain on fire hadn't returned, and the angry army they provoked was between them and home. Ling Qiujuan's heart sank. She did the math. Our timing would have put us right in the path of Guli's retreating army. 15 guys against hundreds of furious, homeless bandits. Even for me, those aren't great odds. She went back to her room alone. Sat down. Stared at my sword. Well, her sword that I claimed was MY sword, on the table. And here's where I learned something interesting about my fierce bandit queen later on. She wasn't actually a bandit. Not even close. 6 months ago, she'd been on the run from someone. Stumbled into Green Dragon territory. The old boss tried to kidnap her. She killed him on the spot, right in front of everyone. Had nowhere else to go, so she figured, why not stay? Hide from her pursuers by becoming a bandit chief. Solid plan. But she quickly realized these men would never truly respect a woman leader. So after killing someone, she forced herself to cut out his heart, while fighting the urge to vomit, and pretended she enjoyed eating them. That's how the heart-eating bandit queen was born. Pure theater. Pure survival. For 6 months, she'd been living in constant fear. Couldn't show weakness for a single second. Couldn't trust anyone. Every night wondering if tomorrow was the night someone finally got her. And then second boss almost did. She was exhausted. Mentally, physically, spiritually done. And then I showed up. The drugged, kidnapped, foul-mouthed, heart-ripping maniac who fell asleep on her bed like it was a hotel. She didn't know whether to hate me or thank me. Probably both. And now she thought I was dead. Surprise, lady. I'm just running errands. Be home by dinner. Probably. We rode into Shen village like we owned the place. Which, technically, my family kind of did. The Shen estate sat on the biggest plot of farmland in the area. Rich folks. Fat wallets. Zero souls. The village alarm bells went crazy when they saw riders coming. Farmers scrambling to hide their rice and silverware. Standard bandit raid protocol. But when we pulled up to the Shen family gates, the guards did a double take. Third young master? You're alive? We heard you were kidnapped. Sir, you can't just walk in with bandits. I kicked them out of the way. Not in the mood for small talk. And there he was. My father, the great Shen family patriarch. Walked out to see what the commotion was, took one look at me, and said, "You're not dead." Not, "Thank God you're alive." Not, "Son, I was worried." Just disappointment that I still existed. Sounds like you were hoping otherwise, I said. You were taken by bandits. And now you bring them here? What is the meaning of this? Monkey lost it immediately. Hey, old man. That's our fourth boss you're talking to. Watch your mouth before I rearrange your face. My boys all drew their knives. In their world, disrespecting their boss means you're volunteering to be shorter by a head. When dear old dad heard I'd become a bandit, he nearly had an aneurysm. Disgrace. You're an embarrassment to the Shen name. I'm disowning you. Starting today, you are no longer part of this family. I almost laughed. You think I want this family? I didn't come back for your approval. I came for something else. Then a girl came running toward me, crying her eyes out. Red Sleeve, the little maid who'd served my mother all these years. Young master, your mother, my stomach dropped. After I got kidnapped, my mother went to the old man begging for ransom money to save me. He refused. Of course he refused. She cried all night until she went blind from it. Then the second wife, that venomous snake, called my mother a curse on the family and had her beaten to death. Beaten to death. The woman who raised this body, who protected her son with nothing but love and a servant status, who endured years of humiliation just to keep him safe. And while I was up on a mountain becoming a bandit chief and burning down rival strongholds, she was being murdered in her own home. I didn't come fast enough. My fists were shaking, not from fear, from a rage so deep and cold it felt like my blood had turned to iron. Where is the second wife? Right on cue. Because evil people have spectacular timing. A pregnant woman waddled in surrounded by an entourage, backed by dozens of armed thugs. Oh look, the little bastard is back. And he's a bandit now? I always said that whore mother of his probably bred him with some random man. No way he's actually the master's son. She stood there, smug, belly out, surrounded by muscle, talking about my dead mother like she was garbage. Every single one of my guys had their knives out. Monkey was vibrating with fury, but they all looked at me, waiting, because what happens next isn't their call. It's mine. The second wife showed up like she owned the universe. Pregnant, smug, surrounded by dozens of armed goons, running her mouth about my dead mother. Oh, the little bastard is back. His whore mother probably made him with some random man. Meanwhile, my brain was flooding with this body's memories. Every humiliation, every cruelty, every time this woman made my mother's life hell. And now she'd had her beaten to death. She ordered her thugs to surround us. I've already sent for the authorities. We outnumber them. There's nothing to fear. Dear old dad joined in. Surround them. This creature is not my son. Monkey looked at me nervously. Fourth boss, what do we do? There's a lot of them, and soldiers are coming. I gave him a one-word answer. Kill. I exploded forward. Special forces don't spar. We don't duel. We don't do fancy martial arts poses. We kill. Fastest route to the target, most efficient strike points, zero wasted movement. These hired thugs with their sticks? They were speed bumps. Bodies dropped. My dagger was a blur. In seconds I was standing in front of the second wife. You, what are you going to do? Husband, one cut. Throat. Done. Blood shot up like a fountain. Everyone within 10 feet went catatonic. Father Dearest took one look, vomited blood, and fainted on the spot. His precious second wife, dead. His unwanted son, standing over her with a dripping blade. The remaining thugs backed away immediately. They were household servants, not soldiers. Without their boss conscious and their champion dead, the fight left them instantly. Monkey. Backrooms. Grab everything. Gold, silver, whatever fits on a cart. Anyone who gets in the way dies. Yes, SIR. Monkey's crew scattered like excited raccoons raiding a dumpster. I walked toward my unconscious father with the bloody dagger. I was going to finish it. Sever every root. Burn every bridge. This family was a cancer, and I was the surgeon. Young master. Please. The old butler, the one decent person in this entire household, threw himself in front of me. This man had protected me when no one else would. Scolded servants who bullied me. Snuck me extra food. He's still your father. If you kill him, heaven won't forgive it. And the soldiers are coming. You must leave now. I stared at the old man, then at my father's pathetic, unconscious body. Loaded up, fourth boss. 3 wagons, 2 full of grain, 1 packed with gold and silver. We're rich. Monkey came sprinting back, grinning ear to ear. I lowered the knife. From today, I have no connection to the Shen family. Cross me again, and I won't stop next time. For anyone, we rolled out of the estate with 3 loaded wagons. Behind us, flames erupted from the mansion. Monkey's boys left a parting gift. I watched the smoke rise without saying a word. My mother was dead. My father disowned me. The home I never really had was ashes behind me. I was a ghost with no anchor. A soul from another world with nothing to his name except a stolen horse, a bloody knife, and 15 bandits who thought I was the greatest thing since sliced bread. On the ride back, I asked them their stories. Monkey joined because taxes got so high his village was starving. Another guy killed a landlord's son who was assaulting children. Another just had nowhere else to go. Most of them were regular people who got crushed by a broken system and chose survival over starvation. Nobody wants to be a bandit. You become one when every other door slams shut. Same as me, really. Transmigrated into a world with no family, no home, no status. What else am I supposed to do? Get a desk job? But you know what? Standing on that road, looking at 15 loyal fighters and 3 wagons of supplies, something clicked. Green Dragon Stronghold is a dump right now. Underfunded, poorly armed, barely organized. But with time, with MY training, with the right strategy, this tiny bandit gang could become something real. Bandit on the mountain, king in the valley. This chaotic world handed me nothing, so I'll take everything. Let's go? Up the mountain, I kicked my horse into a gallop, and 15 screaming bandits followed me home. Climbing Green Dragon Mountain with 3 overloaded wagons was like pushing a fridge up a staircase. The road was steep, winding, and every other step had a rock trying to kill you. This mountain was a natural fortress. No wonder nobody could invade it. I got off my horse because riding without stirrups or a proper saddle was basically doing the splits on a moving animal. My thighs were not having it. How long has Green Dragon Stronghold existed? I asked. No idea, 4th boss. It was here before any of us showed up. Been around forever, I think, Monkey wheezed, hauling a wagon that weighed roughly the same as a small building. Back at the Shen estate, these beautiful idiots had crammed 5 carts worth of stuff into 3 carts. Gold, silver, grain, stuffed into every crack. The wagons were so overloaded the horses were giving us dirty looks. To pass the time, I started chatting with the boys. Seriously though, how did you guys let a woman boss you around? 4th boss, you don't understand. Big boss's kung fu is insane. She killed the old boss in 2 moves. 2. Then fought her way up the mountain and beat everyone who challenged her. 3rd boss included. Nobody could touch her. Fair enough. Respect earned through violence. The bandit way. But honestly, Monkey continued, things got better after she took over. She's actually decent. When our old 4th boss got ambushed at the Shen family, Big Boss personally led the rescue. She fought off pursuers so we could escape. If she hadn't been there covering our retreat, we'd all be dead. I nodded. So Ling Qiujuan wasn't just tough, she actually cared about her people. And I'd taken her first time under the influence of drugs. But you know what? Done is done. No point crying about it. And honestly, I'd protect her with my life now. She's gorgeous, she's fierce, and she's mine. Then a thought hit me. This ancient world is amazing. No mortgage needed. No car payments. No. Let's talk about where this relationship is going. And apparently you can have multiple wives? No limit? The future is looking bright. I was grinning like an idiot when Monkey cleared his throat. Fourth boss, can I ask you something? Don't get mad. Spit it out. Don't be a girl about it. Did you and Big Boss? You know, that night. You were in her room the whole time. Obviously, you didn't. I absolutely did. A woman that beautiful? And you expected me to just sit there? Please. The whole crew went nuclear. You legend, the Big Boss. The Heart Eater, we always said no man alive could handle her. Fourth boss, you're not human. You're a god. Relax. It's not that impressive, I said, lying through my teeth. Now shut up and push. I'm starving. Meanwhile, back at the Stronghold, Ling Qiujuan had been standing at the gate for 3 hours, waiting for me. She'd sent scouts. They found nothing. Searched all the way to Ox Mountain's base. Just fire and chaos. No sign of us. 3 hours turned into 4. Hope was evaporating. He's dead, Fatty finally said. Idiot didn't leave himself an escape route. I overestimated him. Fifth boss shook his head. Shame. We lost second boss, fourth boss, and 15 men. Not a great week. Sixth boss brought even more good news. The fire last night destroyed half our grain storage. We're about to run out of food. And the government just announced a bandit hunting bounty. Things are about to get rough. Ling Qiujuan's face was pure exhaustion. Losing me, losing supplies, enemies on all sides, government crackdowns coming. Forget it, she sighed. Stop waiting. He's not coming back. That's when a scout came sprinting through the gates. Big boss. Big boss. Fourth boss is back. He's alive. And he's got wagons. Timing is everything. You thought I was dead? Nah. I was just out grocery shopping. 3 carts of grain, a pile of gold and silver, and 15 guys who now worship me like a cult leader. Honey, I'm home. So there I was, giving my big speech to the crowd, and I felt Ling Qiujuan's dagger push into my chest. It went in about 3 millimeters and stopped. I didn't even flinch. Kept talking. Tonight we feast. And all the gold and silver gets split among the brothers. The crowd went berserk. Cheering, hollering, losing their minds. These guys became bandits for 3 things: food, money, and women. I just promised 2 out of 3 in one sentence. Long live the Big Boss. Big Boss is amazing. Big Boss is a legend. The dagger quietly withdrew from my chest. Smart woman. I scooped her up, literally picked her up, and carried her toward the back of the stronghold. She squirmed a little, but didn't actually fight it. Sometimes a woman's protest is just for show. Sometimes it's the only dignified option when you've just been publicly dethroned. Behind me, I could hear the conversation. Fatty. Did he just carry the old boss away like a bride? Fifth boss. Better start calling him Big Boss now. 2 days. 2 days, and he runs the whole place. I knew he was special the moment I saw him. Fatty. Oh, shut up, you backstabbing suck-up. Yesterday you were complaining about him taking too many men. I set Ling Qiujuan on the bed. Do you manhandle every woman like this? Wouldn't know. You're my first. She stared at me. Then, after a long silence, I'll be your woman. For real. On one condition. A condition? So this is a transaction. Kill the regional governor for me. Do that, and I'm yours completely. Whatever you want. Her eyes burned with old hatred. Deep. Personal. The kind that keeps you awake for years. Why the governor? She didn't answer. Do you dare? She challenged. Reverse psychology doesn't work on me. I kill who I want to kill, not who someone tells me to. Whether I dare. I slid my hand along her leg, pulled off her shoes, and flipped her onto the bed. She closed her eyes and exhaled, accepting what she thought was coming. Instead, I pulled the blanket over her. Her eyes flew open, completely confused. Get this straight, I said. You're already my woman. Not because I killed the governor. Not as a trade. You're mine because you're mine. Your problems are now my problems. That's how this works. Now sleep. I picked up my sword and walked out. Behind me, I heard something I didn't expect. The faintest sound of crying. I came back downstairs because, let's be real, I just seized power 2 minutes ago. If I stayed up there, celebrating, with Ling Qiujuan and some ambitious idiot decided to stage a coup while I was occupied, that would be the dumbest death in transmigration history. Big boss. Big boss. Why are you back so soon? Monkey appeared with his stupid grin. I kicked him in the butt. Scram. Sat down next to Fatty instead. Everything squared away? I asked. Grains in storage. Guards posted at the base. Silver's been distributed. Here's your share, big boss. He pushed a big bag of silver toward me. Bandit rules. Loot gets split by head count. Bosses take bigger portions. Top boss takes the most. I grabbed a few pieces and tossed them to Fatty. Give these to the guys on night watch. Tell them it's from me. And tell them if anyone sneaks up this mountain while people are drunk, I'm holding them responsible. Fatty's eyes lit up. Those were his guys on watch duty. I'd just shown his men respect and given him face. All in one move. Big boss is generous. Hey, take this silver down to the boys. Gift from the big boss. Now, rule 1 of leadership. Intimidation gets obedience. Generosity gets loyalty. You need both. Scare them first, reward them second, and they'll follow you anywhere. Now give me a drink. I slapped Fatty on the shoulder. Day 2 as a bandit. I'm the boss of the mountain. I've got grain, gold, loyal fighters, and a beautiful woman upstairs who just cried because I was kind to her. Not bad for a dead special forces captain from another dimension. Ling Qiujuan gave me the most aggressive eye roll in recorded history when I asked about her injuries. Gee, I wonder why she's still hurting? Could it be the guy who went full hydraulic press on her 2 nights ago? Yeah, that was me. Not my proudest moment of self-awareness. She was demolishing a roast lamb leg like it personally insulted her family. Wouldn't talk to me. Just chomped with raw fury. You're still walking funny, I said. You're hiding it, but I can tell. Take it easy for a few days. And those sword wounds need proper treatment. Then I mentioned she'd been snoring. She froze mid-bite. Processing. Who was snoring? A lamb leg came flying at my head. I ducked, grabbed her around the waist, and smacked her but twice. That's the new house rule. Attack your husband again, and there's more where that came from. I walked out grinning. Behind me, she was standing there red-faced, but stinging, tears of frustration pooling in her eyes, stomping her feet, which immediately made the other sore area hurt, so she had to sit back down. The woman who terrified an entire bandit gang, defeated by a spanking and gravity. I went to the well and hauled up some water. Had it boiled downstairs, brought it back up in a wooden bucket. Her wound care was terrible. She'd basically been slapping mystery goop on open cuts and hoping for the best. I picked up her medicine bottle and sniffed it. It smelled like death's armpit. Where'd you get this? My original medicine ran out. I had someone buy this from town. Have you used this before? No, first time. Why? Is something wrong? I pulled a face. This was not real wound medicine. Either second boss had sabotaged it before he died, or whoever bought it got scammed. Either way, it was basically poison on an open wound. Take off your clothes. I need to see the damage. She stood there frozen. I've already seen everything. Multiple times. Stop being shy and strip. She turned tomato red but complied, keeping just the tiny front undergarment. I wasn't in the mood to admire the scenery though. Her back wound was swollen, oozing pus, angry red. The shoulder wound was the same. Infection, both sites. You didn't notice this? It hurt a little, a little. One more day, and you'd have blood poisoning. Lie on the bed. Face down. Now, she pouted but obeyed. Then had a very entertaining struggle, trying to lie flat on her stomach with her generous assets in the way. She shifted, she squeezed, she adjusted. Nothing worked. Those things had their own zip code. She was beet red with embarrassment. I pretended not to notice. I had work to do. I held my dagger blade over the candle flame until it glowed orange. Field surgery, Bandit Mountain edition. The infected tissue has to come out. I'll drain it and cauterize. No anesthesia, no antibiotics, no painkillers. This is going to be awful. I rolled up a corner of the blanket and stuffed it in her mouth. Bite this. Trust me, it helps. Before she could prepare herself, I pinned her down with one arm and one leg and cut into the wound. Her entire body went rigid. Fists white-knuckled the sheets. Teeth sank into the blanket so hard I heard fabric ripping. Not a single scream. This woman was tough. I finished the back wound. She was drenched in sweat, trembling, completely spent. One more. She looked at me with eyes that said, please no, but didn't say a word. I heated the blade again. Here we go. The second cut made her arch up off the bed involuntarily, mouth open in a silent scream. I grabbed her, held her against me, and worked as fast as humanly possible. She bit down on my arm so hard I felt it hit bone. Then she passed out. I held her there for a moment. Unconscious, sweating, still trembling even in sleep. Both wounds cleaned, drained, and sealed. Being a special forces medic in a world without modern medicine is like performing surgery with a butter knife and good intentions. But she'd live. The infections were caught early enough. I looked down at the bite mark on my arm. Deep, already bruising purple. You're welcome, sweetheart. When Ling Qiujuan woke up, she found me sleeping against the bed, hugging my sword like a teddy bear. She was still naked under the blanket from the surgery, so she didn't dare move. Instead, she just stared at me. Apparently, I'm handsome when I sleep. Her words. Well, her thoughts. She'd never say it out loud. She'd rather chew glass. Then she noticed the bite mark on my arm. Deep, purple, definitely broke skin. She got all guilty and quiet about it. Cute. Then she saw my chest. The stab wound from yesterday, when she jabbed me with the dagger during my hostile takeover speech. Blood had soaked through my shirt overnight. Your chest. It's nothing. Nothing? You're bleeding through your clothes. I've had worse. Literally 100 times. Then she asked about the medicine I'd used on her wounds. Since her old stuff was garbage, where did I find new medicine? Oh, I found some resurrection fern on the cliffs behind the Stronghold. Grabbed it last night. Lucky find. She went silent. Because she knew what grabbed it last night meant. It meant I'd gone cliff climbing. In the dark. Over a bottomless drop. To pick medicinal herbs. For her. Thank you. Thank me? With what? Just words. That mouth up top doesn't count. Wait till you're healed up, then thank me properly with the other mouth. I walked out grinning. Behind me. The other mouth? What other mouth? A person only has one mouth. Oh, sweet innocent bandit queen. You'll figure it out eventually. Time to actually run this dump. I called a meeting. Fatty, 5th boss, Pockmark, and 6th boss, Zheng Tai, the tall quiet one, sat down. The numbers hit me like a truck. Total manpower, 137 people. That's IT. After Ox Mountain's raid, our counterattack losses, and second boss's little mutiny cleanup, we were running on fumes. No wonder Ox Mountain kept bullying us. We were outnumbered 4-1. Then 6th boss read the inventory. Grain, 7,000 gene. Meat, about 1,000 gene. Bows, 47. Arrows, a few hundred. Swords, 107. Wooden sticks, 70-something. Horses, 36. Wagons, 4. That's everything. Our entire net worth. 137 people eating 2 gene of grain per day equals 274 gene daily. Our food supply would last about 3 weeks. We still didn't have enough swords for everyone. A third of the gang was fighting with sticks. And this was after looting Ox Mountain's dead. This is genuinely pathetic, I said. I reorganized responsibilities. Fatty handles troops and defense. 6th boss handles logistics and supplies. But 5th boss, Pockmark, just sat there looking lost. Big boss. I thought about it all night, and I honestly don't know what I'm good at. Oh, I already figured that out. You're going to town. Town? You've got the smoothest tongue in this whole mountain. Nobody in the county knows your face. You're going undercover. Take some silver, bring a few sharp guys, go to the county seat. Buy a small business, a tavern, an inn, whatever's available. You'll be our intelligence network and our money pipeline. You want me to be a spy? I want you to be a businessman who also happens to be a spy. With your gift for talking nonsense, you'll fit right in. Think of it as professional lying, which you already do for free. I tossed him the bag of silver. His eyes lit up like a kid who just discovered candy exists. Because here's the thing about building a real operation. You can't just sit on a mountain robbing people. You need money flowing in. You need eyes and ears in town. You need to know when the government's coming, when merchants are moving, when opportunities pop up. Every army needs soldiers. But every smart army also needs spies. And Pockmark, that beautiful little weasel, was born for espionage. 5th boss practically levitated out of his chair with excitement. Leave it to me, big boss. I'll make it happen. Go today. The government just announced a bandit hunting bounty. We don't know when they'll move. Get down there, scout the county seat, find a business to buy. Don't rush it. When you find something good, come back and tell me. I'll go with you to finalize. He zoomed out the door like a greyhound chasing a rabbit. Next, Fatty. Ox Mountain is going to want revenge. Their entire home just burned down. They're homeless, angry, and stupid. Perfect recipe for a revenge attack. Take the boys down the mountain and clear fire breaks. Every layer of the slope. Chop the trees, rip out the brush, make gaps the fire can't jump. Bring the good wood back for building. And plant traps in the cleared zones. Fatty nodded and lumbered out. He might be dumb, but give that man a simple violent task, and he's a golden retriever with an axe. Then sixth boss, Zheng Tai. Our grain storage is a death trap. One spark and we lose everything again. Move it all underground. There's a wine cellar that's dry enough. Line the walls with wooden boards. Scatter wood ash everywhere for moisture control. Post rotating guards. If I find a single rat in my grain, those guards become the next meal. Smart. The cellar's big enough for all our food supplies. I'll handle it. Not done yet. Sit. He's Saturday. Winter is coming. Yeah, I said it. We need firewood, warm clothes, and food. That's your top priority from now on. Firewood and clothes are doable. We've raided enough fabric. But grain is the problem. Villages are organizing defenses now. Travelers are scarce. Raiding isn't as easy as before. Don't worry about raiding right now. Let the rich landowners do their own harvest. Once they've gathered all their grain into nice, convenient piles for us, we'll visit. For now, send me every former hunter in the Stronghold. His eyes lit up. Hunting, and training. Each hunter takes 3 guys, preferably ones who can already shoot a bow. They go into the mountains as hunting teams. Half the job is bringing back meat. Other half is teaching archery. Also, grab every wild vegetable, fruit, mushroom, and edible thing you see. Strip the mountain clean, training archers while gathering food. 2 birds, 1 arrow. Literally. The hunters came in with their bows. Crude, homemade, barely functional, but they'd do. I assigned teams and sent them out. Then, just as sixth boss was leaving, I called him back. One more thing. Who bought the medicine for the Stronghold? Medicine. I had someone pick it up when I went to town. Why? No reason. Just. We'll need more supplies for injuries going forward. Stock up when you can. Sure thing. He left. I watched him go, frowning slightly. Because here's the thing. Ling Qiujuan's medicine was poison. Someone bought fake drugs. Sixth boss said he arranged the purchase. Could be innocent. Maybe the seller scammed him. Or maybe not. I filed that away for later. Can't trust anyone fully yet. Not even the quiet ones. So here's where things stood on day 3 of my bandit career. Fifth boss. Deployed to town as an undercover spy businessman. Sixth boss. Managing food, supplies, and winter prep. Fatty. Clearing fire breaks and building defenses. Hunters. Feeding the Stronghold while secretly training an archery corps. Ling Qiujuan. Recovering upstairs, probably still trying to figure out what the other mouth means. 137 people. 7,000 jin of grain. 107 swords. 3 weeks of food if nothing changes. But I had a plan. Multiple plans. Plans within plans. Back in the day, my squad started with 7 idiots and 3 rusty guns. And we made it work. I hummed to myself, walking out into the mountain air. Give me time. Just a little time. And this broke little bandit camp on a mountain will become something that makes this entire corrupt empire nervous. I built a sandbox. Well, a sand table. A giant tactical map covering the entire floor of the meeting hall. Took me and a dozen guys who knew the local terrain an entire night of running up and down the mountain to get the details right. Back in my old life, I had satellite imagery, GPS, drone footage. Here, I had Fatty's memory and vibes. Welcome to the Fog of War, Ancient Edition. But when it was done, oh man, it was beautiful. Every mountain, river, village, and rival stronghold in the entire county, laid out in miniature. Plus a zoomed-in version of Green Dragon Mountain showing every rock, path, and tree line. Fatty lost his mind. Big boss, this is magic. That's our county. The mountains. The rivers. Everything's tiny. Then sixth boss pointed at one spot. This river fork is wrong. There's a side path on the other bank. Fatty. And oh, there isn't. The river goes this way. I know because last time I rode that road, I tried to pee off my horse and the bumps made me piss all over myself. Thank you for that tactical intelligence, Fatty. They've been fighting about the map for days. Every single time, They'd argue, send someone to check, and sixth boss would be right. Fatty's face had been slapped by reality so many times it should have been flat by now. But did he learn? Never. Next argument, same confidence, same wrongness. The man was a marvel of unearned certainty. Enough. Sixth boss, go to your job. The map's close enough. I had to physically separate them before Fatty turned sixth boss's face into ground beef again. Here's what the last few days had produced. Hunting operations, better than expected. Each team brought back dozens of gene of meat daily. Plus, they were ambushing actual hunters coming through, not killing them, just taxing their catch. We'd take the big game and leave them the scraps. Robin Hood in reverse. The hunting teams were also learning traps and snares faster than archery, which, fine. I'd rather have guys who can build lethal obstacles than guys who miss targets. I ordered a full sweep of Green Dragon Mountain itself. Kill or catch every animal, and leave traps everywhere. Even if we caught nothing, the traps would stop anyone sneaking up on us. Food storage. The underground cellar was packed. Salted meat, wind-dried jerky, smoked provisions, all preserved for winter. Some of the veteran bandits literally cried looking at the stockpile. They'd never had reserves before. Every previous winter was starve and pray. Eat when you have it, suffer when you don't. Now we had enough for 3 months minimum. Old-timer bandits were openly weeping. We've never had this much food in Green Dragon history. Defenses, fire breaks cut into the mountain slopes. Traps scattered across every approach. The two existential threats to our position, fire and siege, were both neutralized. You can't burn us if there's no fuel. You can't starve us if we're stocked for months. My grand strategy came down to 9 words, stolen from a very smart man in Chinese history: build high walls. Store deep grain. Delay becoming king. High walls. Fortify everything. Train fighters. Upgrade weapons. Deep grain. Stockpile food, money, weapons, horses, everything. Delay kingship. Stay quiet. Don't attract attention. We're mid-tier among the local bandit gangs right now, and that's perfect. Too strong, the government crushes you. Too weak, other bandits eat you. Medium means invisible. No showing off. No glory raids. No chest beating. Just silent, steady growth until the day we're ready. And by then, it'll be too late for anyone to stop us. Hey Fatty, quit drooling over the sandbox. How's the combat training going? Don't worry, big boss. I've been training the boys with my family swordsmanship, passed down from my great-grandfather, who learned it from a legendary blade master. Usually I'd never share it, but for you? Special exception, I walked down to watch. 50 guys were flailing swords around on a clearing like they were fighting invisible bees. It looked less like martial arts training and more like a group seizure. So, how long have you been practicing this technique? I asked Fatty. Since I was a kid. My dad beat me with a stick this thick every time I stopped. I had no choice. Years of training. And this is the result? Please stop embarrassing your ancestors. His footwork was non-existent. His form was all upper body, no foundation. He won fights purely because he was enormous and scary-looking. Most people were too intimidated to fight back properly. Against anyone competent, he'd last about 5 seconds. Though I could see the swordsmanship itself actually had real merit buried under Fatty's sloppy execution. It just needed decades of proper practice to master, and Fatty was maybe 30% of the way there. Big boss, that's not fair. Every time you beat me, you caught me off guard. If we fight properly, face to face, your wooden stick against my real sword, I drop you in 10 moves. Guaranteed. Are you still salty about not being boss? No. Fine. Let's go. Right here, right now. You win. You get my chair. I grabbed a wooden stick and walked to the center of the field. The entire stronghold materialized out of thin air. Every bandit dropped what they were doing. Most of them had never actually seen me fight. They only knew about the scary stuff. The heart-ripping, the cliff-jumping, the murder. Some figured I'd gotten the top spot just because I was sleeping with the previous boss. Time to fix that. Fatty was practically vibrating. At least use a real sword. I don't want people saying I cheated. Use your big blade. If you can even scratch me with it, I'll hand over the stronghold. Deal? And if I lose, I'll follow your orders without a single complaint ever again. Whoever backs out is a turtle's son. The betting started immediately. Can Big Boss win? No way. Third boss's blade technique is brutal, You idiots don't know anything. Big boss wins in 5 moves. The old boss took half a day to beat third boss. No way, it's 5 moves. BET, BET. All my silver on big boss. All mine on third boss. Double. Fatty raised his sword. Studied me. Looking for an opening. Couldn't find one. Finally said screw it, and brought the blade down at my skull with everything he had. Classic Fatty. Big dramatic overhead chop. Looked devastating. Was actually a feint. He expected me to dodge sideways so he could redirect into a horizontal slash, then follow with his fierce tiger down the mountain, 3-strike combo. Decent plan. For someone else. The moment his swing committed, I stepped forward, not sideways, and jabbed my stick straight into his armpit. His scream could have been heard in the next county. The sword flew out of his hands. His arms went limp. Before he could process what happened, I was already behind him. Wound up like a baseball player. Whack. Right across the butt cheeks. Fatty howled, grabbed his armpit with one hand and his butt with the other, and toppled over like a bowling pin. 1 move. Technically 1.5 if you count the butt shot, which I'm calling a bonus. Dead silence. Then chaos. Big boss is a god. That wasn't even 1 full move. I'm rich. Pay up, losers. I told you. I told you all. I helped Fatty up. He was half crying, half laughing, completely defeated in body and spirit. You okay? Nothing broken? PFFT. You call that an injury? I've had worse. But seriously, big boss, you're incredible. I'm done doubting you. From now on, you say jump, I jump. You say kill, I kill. Sword mountains, fire seas, whatever. He tried to sit down in his but reminded him what just happened. AOWW. All right, enough drama. Listen up. The 15 guys here who actually know some fighting, separate them out. Teach them your family's sword technique properly. As for the rest of you, I looked at the remaining 70-something confused bandits. Go into the forest. Each of you brings back a wooden pole, at least 9 feet long. Sharpen one into a point. Fatty blinked. Pointy sticks? Pointy sticks. Because here's what nobody in this world seems to understand. You don't need everyone to be a swordsman. You need a formation. And the deadliest formation in military history requires exactly one thing. A very long, very sharp stick, and the discipline to point it at someone charging toward you. The spear wall is coming to ancient China, courtesy of a dead Special Forces captain who read too many history books. I left the 15 guys with actual combat skills on the training field and sent everyone else to go chop trees. All right, you lot have some talent. Fatty's swordsmanship has power, but you don't have Fatty's body mass, so you can't replicate the force. I'm going to teach you footwork instead. Watch. I planted some sticks in the ground and demonstrated a snake run drill. Basic military agility training, zigzag sprints through obstacles, builds leg stability, speed, coordination, and the ability to change direction without eating dirt. Fatty watched with his mouth hanging open. Boss, it's just running around sticks? How does that help in a fight? I ignored him. Instead, I held up a piece of silver. Whoever completes the drill with their sword in the fastest time gets this. Every single eyeball locked onto that silver like a hawk spotting a rabbit. That's mine. Move. I'm going first. Out of my way. They started sprinting the drill like their lives depended on it. No supervisor needed. No motivation speeches. Just pure greed-powered athletics. The losers would refuse to accept their times and keep running, which meant they'd train themselves into the ground without me saying a word. I grabbed Fatty by the neck. Next time I give an order and you question it in front of everyone, I'll slice you into strips and feed you to the wolves. Clear? Yes. Yes. Can't. Breathe. Good. Let's go check the sticks. The guys I'd sent into the forest were back. Some brought small trees. Most brought bamboo poles, 6 or 7 centimeters thick, perfect grip. Sharpen one end, and you've got a weapon that'll punch through anything. I grabbed one and walked to the center of the field. 3 moves. Watch carefully. Block. Deflect. Thrust. That's it. 3 moves. Everyone stared at me like I'd told them the secret to immortality was eating dirt. That's it. Where's the fancy stuff? My grandma could do that. They didn't understand. They couldn't. These 3 moves were the distilled product of centuries of military evolution. Thousands of battles, millions of dead soldiers, endless refinement until only the most efficient, most lethal movements survived. Simple doesn't mean weak. Simple means perfected. But explaining military history to bandits is like teaching calculus to goldfish. So instead, sixth boss, bring it out. Zheng Tai and his guys carried out a massive pot of stewed wild boar. The smell hit the crowd like a truck. Every nose in the stronghold twitched. Drool appeared on faces faster than morning dew. Yesterday, the hunters brought back a wild boar. One boar. 137 mouths. Not enough for everyone. So, I grinned. Use those 3 moves against third boss. If your stick touches him, you eat. If it doesn't, the whole pot is his. Fatty's eyes lit up like bonfires. Ha! Bring it on. Come get your meat, boys. If you can. He stripped off his shirt, grabbed his sword, and strutted into the ring like a gladiator. The bandits looked terrified. Big boss. We can't beat third boss. Who said anything about one-on-one? Teams of 3. Pick your partners. But 3 is the max. More than that, and you'll trip over each other. The magic words. Eyes went from terrified to calculating. First team stepped up. 3 guys, 3 bamboo poles, 0 confidence. They attacked. And something beautiful happened. Fatty couldn't reach them. The poles were 10 feet long. His sword couldn't close the distance. He'd swing at one pole, and the other 2 would jab at his face. He'd try to power through, but 3 poles pushing together were stronger than one man pulling. One pole nearly went into his mouth. Fatty almost became the world's first bandit shish kebab. The 3 guys realized it too. They looked at each other and it clicked. Block, deflect, thrust, rotate. The exact 3 moves I'd just shown them. 1 blocks, 1 deflects, 1 stabs. Switch. Repeat. Fatty was scrambling. The unbeatable third boss, the strongest fighter in Green Dragon, getting pushed around by 3 nobodies with pointy sticks. He eventually won by stepping on one pole, snapping another, and bear-hugging the third, pure brute force. But it took everything he had. The crowd erupted. Wait, did those 3 losers just almost beat third boss? Suddenly, everyone wanted in. Groups of 3 formed instantly, fighting over who gets to challenge next. The smell of boar meat was the greatest military motivator in human history. I watched the chaos with deep satisfaction. They'd figure it out by dinner. 3-man spear formations, the backbone of every great army that ever existed. Being born right here on a bandit mountain because people were hungry. While they beat each other senseless over pork, I quietly walked away with 6th boss toward the archery range. Phase 2. I used the same trick for archery training. Second pot of wild boar stew, carried right into the middle of the archery range. The smell hit them like a wall. Instant crowd. I had Li Manchong, our best hunter, former professional archer, hang a small woven hoop on a fence post. Way out there. Manchong, show them how it's done. He squinted at the distance. That's pretty far, boss. Scared? Me? Back in my hunting days, I could shoot through a wolf's skull at this distance. Watch, 1 shot. Dead center through the hoop. Beautiful. New rule. Hit the hoop. Eat meat. Miss the hoop. Go find your own dinner. Oh, and one more thing. I placed a silver coin on top of the fence post. Knock that off, and it's yours. Every time someone wins it, I put up a new one. Manchong's eyes nearly popped out. Can I? I kicked him in the butt. You go eat. You're too good. Everyone else, get behind this line. Fire away. The archery range turned into an absolute carnival. Guys shoving each other for position, arrows flying everywhere, people cheering and cursing. Nobody needed motivation. Nobody needed supervision. Meat and money, the 2 universal bandit motivators. Between the sword training, the spear formations, and now archery, I had the entire stronghold training themselves through pure competitive greed. Military discipline? Don't know her. Financial incentives? My best friend. Meanwhile, over at Ox Mountain, Gully was having a rough month. His mountain was bald and black. Half his supplies were ashes. Every time he looked outside and saw the charcoal wasteland that used to be his forest, his chest physically hurt. His second boss, Song Chong, came in with a plan. Let's burn their mountain. Eye for an eye. Gully loved it. Tonight. Go. Then Wang Ba, their imported martial arts expert, the guy who'd been dying for action, volunteered too. When the fire forces them downhill, I'll be waiting to slaughter them. Gully agreed but warned him. Do not go up the mountain early. Wait for the fire to push them down. That terrain is a death trap. Got it, boss. Wang Ba ran off like an excited puppy heading to the dog park. He'd been stuck on Ox Mountain training useless bandits and robbing defenseless villages for weeks. The man was bored. Good luck with that plan, boys. My mountain has fire breaks, traps everywhere, and guards who are very motivated by recent silver bonuses. Back home, I was in Ling Qiujuan's room doing my daily medical duties. All done. Last of the herbs. Wounds are healing nicely. She pulled her clothes on, face bright red. Not from the medicine. See, over the past few days, I'd established a very important medical protocol. Every time I changed her bandages, the undergarment had to come off. For medical reasons. Something about special therapeutic technique, and the medicine needs to breathe. Was this medically accurate? Absolutely not. Did she believe me? Absolutely not. Did she resist? Every single time. Did it help? Every single time, no? After a few sessions of me forcibly removing the garment, purely for health purposes, she started preemptively lying face down on the bed, red-faced, clothes already loosened. Progress. My hands started out professional. Then gradually, less professional. The territory expanded. Mountains were explored. Valleys were surveyed. She'd protest, lose all strength, and then, well, the therapeutic session would run a bit over time. At this point, the daily bandage change had become something we both understood but neither acknowledged. She'd blush. I'd smirk. Medicine would be applied. Other things would also be applied. Everyone was healing beautifully. Okay, stop. Hands off. I need to tell you something serious. She slapped my wandering hand away and sat up. Fine. Business time. I can be professional. For at least 30 seconds. Ling Qiujuan sat up looking serious for once. Actually serious. I've been cooped up in here long enough. I'm healed. I went around the Stronghold yesterday. Everyone's busy. Everything's running smoothly. Let me take some guys down the mountain to raid for grain. Training is burning through our supplies faster than before. Fair point. More activity means more calories. More calories means more food. More food means more raids. The circle of bandit life. But I shook my head. Not yet. Ox Mountain got humiliated. They've been busy rebuilding and raiding villages for supplies, but that's almost done. They're going to come for revenge any day now. If you go downhill and run into their war party, it gets ugly fast. She nodded. I thought about that too. But here's something else. When they challenged us at the gate last time, they seemed more confident than usual. Ox Mountain never had real fighters before. Now they're recruiting. Word is they picked up someone skilled. A new fighter? Interesting. What would you be most afraid of? Fighting someone strong. She thought about it. In a straight duel, nothing. But arrows. Arrows are the real threat. You can dodge a sword. You can't always dodge an arrow you don't see coming. That's actually how I got wounded last time. Watching for archers made me lose focus. Good to know. Thanks, wifey. You're actually useful. Who's your wife? I never agreed to. Oh? Didn't seem like you were disagreeing earlier. Or last night. Or the night before. Speaking of which, your injuries are healed now, and that position you use for bandage changes works perfectly for. It's the middle of the day. Lie down. Shen San, I swear I'll MHM that night. 7 or 8 miles from Green Dragon Mountain. Wang Ba, Ox Mountain's imported martial arts expert, was hiding in the darkness with 200 men. The plan was simple. Second boss Song Chong sneaks up Green Dragon, sets fires, forces us to flee downhill, and Wang Ba's army massacres us in the open. They waited, and waited, and waited. No fire. No signal. Nothing. What's taking so long? They should have reached the base of the mountain ages ago. Wang Ba sent scouts ahead. The scouts didn't come back either. More waiting. Still nothing. No fire, no screams, no scouts. Just silence. Wang Ba was going crazy. Where is everyone? He killed his torches and led the whole force to the base of Green Dragon himself. The mountain was perfectly quiet. Dim lights from the stronghold way up top. No sign of fighting. No sign of anything. He sent more guys up, this time through the forest instead of the main path. Silence. Then a scream. One blood-curdling howl ripping through the night. That idiot. The whole mountain heard that. A guy came crawling back, dragging one leg, covered in blood. Commander, the forest is full of traps. Pit traps with spikes. The brothers fell in. They're all dead. Second boss's team probably walked right into them too. My traps. My beautiful, wonderful, lethal traps. Remember when I had the hunters sweep Green Dragon Mountain and set traps everywhere? Not just for animals. for exactly this moment. Every approach through the forest was now a death maze. Spiked pits, snares, covered holes. You couldn't take 3 steps off the main path without risk of becoming a human kebab. Song Chong's fire team walked straight into them in the dark. Gone. The scouts walked into them. Gone. All without a single sound from our side. No battle needed. The mountain ate them. Did Wang Ba learn from this? Did he think, maybe attacking a trap-filled mountain in the dark is a bad idea? Of course not. Cowards. Hiding behind traps instead of fighting like men. Everyone charge. We're taking that mountain tonight. He jumped on his horse and led 200 men straight up the main road. Toward the stronghold where I had archers posted, spear formations trained, and defenders who'd been waiting for exactly this. Buddy, you have no idea what you're walking into. 3 hours of battle in the bedroom, and I'd just fallen asleep when shouting from below woke me up. I threw on clothes, grabbed my sword, and ran out. Scouts were already reporting. Big boss. Someone tripped our traps in the forest. We can hear horses below. I climbed to the lookout point. Sure enough, a long line of torches snaking up the mountain road. Called it. Ox Mountain, right on schedule. They probably send a fire team through the forest first. My traps ate them alive. Now the main force is charging up like idiots. Fatty was vibrating with excitement. Let's go down and fight. The boys have been training. We're ready. Fight? In the dark? They're literally walking into our kill zone, and you want to run down to meet them? Did you eat paint as a child? But the sword squad, I gave him the look, is standing by for your orders. Big boss, sir. Manchong, take your archers into the pre-marked positions along the tree line. Spread out. Every arrow counts. I want accuracy, not volume. When I say shoot together, everyone fires at once. When I say stop, don't actually stop. Switch to individual targeting. Go. 40-something archers melted into the darkness on both sides of the mountain path. Weeks of training with meat and silver rewards were about to pay dividends. Fatty, get the rolling logs, rocks, and thorny vines up to the gate. Now, boss, when they reach the top, can't we just— He saw my eyes. Mouth closed. Good boy. You heard the man. Move everything. Go, go, go. I had one more idea. Kill every light in the stronghold. Every torch, every candle, every cooking fire. Everything. Green Dragon Mountain went completely black. Just stars above and enemy torches below. From their perspective, the entire mountaintop had vanished. From our perspective, they were lit up like a Christmas parade walking into a shooting gallery. 20-some cavalry came charging up the main road. Big guy in front. Had to be Wang Ba, their new hotshot. Massive, confident, sword swinging. Fatty whispered, now? Do we smash them? Wait for it. They reached the gate zone. I could see Wang Ba's dumb, confident face in the torchlight. Now? Throw the vines. A tsunami of thorny grass crashed down on them. Instant chaos. Horses screaming. Men tumbling. The spiny vines grabbed everything. Clothes, armor, horse legs, faces. The front riders went down and rolled back down the steep mountain path, howling all the way. The horses, now riderless, kept running straight into our stronghold. Free horses. 15 of them. Fatty's grin could have been seen from space. Our horse count just jumped by almost 50% without swinging a single sword. Ha ha ha. These morons. Who knew weeds could be a weapon, but the vines couldn't kill anyone. Within minutes, the Ox Mountain guys regrouped. This time they pushed archers to the front, trembling, terrified archers who'd watched their cavalry friends tumble down a mountain wrapped in demon grass. Those poor bowmen were cursing Wang Ba with every step. He sends us in front? That turtle's son. May his ancestors disown him. They crept forward, arrows knocked, shaking like leaves. Couldn't see a thing because our mountain was pitch black while they were carrying torches, basically painting bullseyes on their own foreheads. I watched them shuffle closer. My archers were invisible in the tree line, arrows ready, weeks of competitive training hardened into muscle memory. Come on in, boys. The mountain is hungry tonight. The front line of Ox Mountain archers were the most pathetic soldiers I've ever seen. Half of them were so scared they were shooting at shadows before seeing a single person. One guy would panic fire, and everyone around him would reflexively shoot too. By the time they got halfway up, they'd wasted most of their arrows on trees and air. Meanwhile, my archers could see everything. These idiots were carrying torches. In the dark, while trying to sneak attack. It's like playing hide and seek while wearing a neon sign that says, "I'm right here." I genuinely couldn't understand it. Just drop the torches and retreat. That's the obvious play. But then I remembered, most of these bandits were just starving farmers who signed up for free meals last week. They had zero combat training and even less common sense. Wang Ba, for his part, was regretting every life choice that led him to this mountain. He'd ignored Guli's warnings, charged in blind, got clotheslined by weeds, and now his archers were shooting at nothing while my guys picked them off like carnival targets. Kill! One shout from Manchong, and arrows poured out of the darkness from every direction. The front line crumpled. Bodies everywhere. The survivors shot back frantically at the Black Forest. Couldn't hit a thing because my archers were spread out and invisible. And here's the beautiful part. My guys deliberately avoided shooting the torch holders. Keep the lights on, boys. We need you to illuminate your friends for us. The torch guys were standing there shaking, surrounded by fallen comrades, basically serving as human lampposts. Wang Ba caught an arrow in the shoulder. Come out and fight me like a man. Stop with the ow. What the? Fatty was giggling beside me. What a moron. Come fight me one-on-one. Bro, we're bandits. Since when do we do honor? I side-eyed him. Funny. I seem to remember someone who kept begging for one-on-one duels and proper formation fighting. Fatty turned bright red. Boss, there's people around. Maybe save the roasting for later. Time for my favorite move, psychological warfare. Ceasefire. Hey, Ox Mountain. Who's your leader? Let's talk. Wang Ba stood up eagerly. That's M. An arrow whistled past his ear. What the? You said ceasefire. Oh my? So sorry about that. Everyone stop shooting. This is supposed to be a negotiation. Show some class. A few Ox Mountain guys cautiously stood up. Thwip, thwip, thwip. 3 more dropped. Seriously, guys. I said stop. You're making us look bad. We're all professionals here. More Ox Mountain bandits stood up, thinking it was safe. Thwip, 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 thwip. Li Manchong, are you blind? Didn't you hear me? Look how upset the big, strong leader man is. You should be ashamed. I was screaming at my archers for disobeying, while they methodically shot every person stupid enough to stand up during my fake ceasefire. Wang Ba was spinning in circles trying to block arrows while figuring out what was happening. Then, because my archers apparently needed stage direction, I yelled, and for God's sake, aim for the big tall one. He's right there, Wang Ba. Wait, wah. Thwip, thwip, thwip. Arrows in his arm and butt. I'm going to. Ow, everyone retreat. Retreat. He finally figured it out. The ceasefire was a massacre with customer service. All archers, empty your quivers. Everything you've got. The sky turned into a wall of arrows. Fatty. Cavalry. Down the mountain. Go. Wang Mang had been dying to hear those words. He leaped onto a horse. Brothers. With me. CHARG. The sword squad poured down the mountain path on horseback, smashing into the panicking, arrow-riddled remnants of Ox Mountain's invasion force. It wasn't even a battle at that point. It was cleanup. You come to MY Mountain. At night. With torches? Against trained archers in elevated concealed positions? This isn't war. This is pest control. Over at Ox Mountain, Gully was pacing holes in his floor all night. Why isn't there fire yet? It's almost dawn. Where is everyone? His third boss, a one-eyed guy, squinted with his remaining eye. Boss, I think something went very wrong. Then someone came running in. They're back. Wang Ba's people are back. Gully rushed outside, and his soul nearly left his body. Wang Ba stumbled in looking like a porcupine, arrows sticking out of his butt and shoulder, covered in blood. Behind him, 30-something guys. Out of over 200. Where is everyone? We got ambushed. The mountain was full of traps. And archers. And everything. I told you not to go up the mountain. Where's second boss? Dead. Walked into a spike pit. Gully collapsed. His men caught him before he hit the ground. The man had now lost his second boss, 160 soldiers, and whatever remained of his dignity. We will destroy Green Dragon if it's the last thing boss. Urgent. The county army is coming to attack US. A rider burst through the gates with the worst possible timing. Life just keeps punching Gully in the face. Beautiful. Back home, we were feasting. Big boss. A toast. Last night was the greatest battle I've ever fought. Fatty clinked his bowl against mine. The numbers were absurd. Over 200 Ox Mountain fighters came. 100 plus dropped to arrows alone. Fatty's cavalry mopped up most of the rest during the retreat. Maybe 30 or 40 escaped. Our casualties? A few scratches on the sword squad. 0 deaths. 0. For our guys, this was unthinkable. Before me, the best they'd ever managed was not getting completely destroyed. Now they'd annihilated a force twice their size without losing a single man. Morale was through the roof. I distributed all the loot from the dead. Every bandit carried their savings on them, because leaving valuables in a bandit camp is like leaving steak in a dog kennel. The boys were swimming in silver. The spear squad was sulking though. Big boss. When's our turn? The archers got to shoot, the swords got to charge, and we just stood around holding sticks all night. Relax. You're my frontline battle formation, the main event. Archers soften them up, swords chase them down. But when it's a real face-to-face fight, that's your show. Don't worry, your time is coming. That perked them right up. Then fifth boss came galloping through the gates like his horse's tail was on fire. Big boss. News. The county magistrate is sending his army out to hunt bandits, and their first target is Ox Mountain. Pockmarked Face had been in town for days, ears to the ground, doing exactly what I sent him to do. He'd bribed information out of a tavern owner. A military unit had arrived at the county seat, and they were marching on Ox Mountain. So let me get this straight. Ox Mountain just lost their second boss, 160 men, and half their morale to me. And now the government is about to hit them too? Guli is having the worst month in the entire history of banditry. The man can't catch a single break. Meanwhile, I'm sitting on a mountain fortress, fully stocked, freshly victorious, troops trained and motivated, intelligence network operational, and my enemies are about to get hammered by the county army. I didn't even have to do anything. I just had to sit here, eat meat, drink wine, and watch the world destroy my problems for me. This is what build high walls, store deep grain, delay becoming king, looks like in action. Sips wine. What's the situation? Sit, eat, talk. Fifth boss grabbed a bowl and started shoveling food while reporting. A military unit rolled into the county seat a few days ago, led by some young nobleman, a little marquis, surnamed Zheng. Word from a tavern owner says they're mobilizing to attack Ox Mountain. 3 days from now, how many soldiers? At least 1,000, plus the county's own forces. This isn't the usual half-hearted patrol. They're going for the kill. Fatty nearly choked on his wine with glee. Huh, Ox Mountain is finished. They've got 3, maybe 400 guys left. Their forest is gone, and now 1,000 soldiers are coming? Couldn't happen to nicer people, you know, Fatty added wistfully. We should have dragged those Ox Mountain corpses to the county office for the bounty. That's good money we left on the table, yeah, because walking into a government building carrying dead bodies when you're a wanted bandit is a brilliant plan. Fair point. I led everyone to the sand table. Show me the route from the county seat to Ox Mountain. Fifth boss traced it with a stick. Main road, straight shot. Ox Mountain sat right next to the major highways, which is why they'd gotten fat robbing travelers. Unlike us, stuck up on a remote mountain with only footpaths. But there's also this. He traced a secondary route through a deep valley, overgrown, rocky, barely a path. Just trails worn by hunters and herbalists. This comes out behind Ox Mountain. I studied it. The main road approached Ox Mountain's front, where they'd be watching. But the back route through the valley? Total surprise attack angle. Especially now that their forest was burned bare. The front was exposed, but the back still had cover from the terrain. If the army takes the valley route, Ox Mountain won't see them coming until it's over. So they're definitely doomed, sixth boss said. But who is this Shen kid? I asked. A marquis's son leading troops at his age, Ling Qiujuan walked in. Everyone jumped to their feet. Second boss, even demoted, she still terrified them. Love that. The little marquis is the son of Marquis Zhang Tai from the provincial capital. Not firstborn, but his father's favorite. Not even 20 years old. Obsessed with martial arts and military strategy. He's read every classic war text. He's here to build his reputation through combat achievements. So, young, ambitious, educated, well-resourced, and hungry to prove himself. Dangerous combination. Then Ox Mountain is absolutely dead, I confirmed. Fifth boss was practically bouncing. Big boss. After the army smashes Ox Mountain, we swoop in and take whatever's left. We'd be the biggest gang in the region. Fatty slammed his empty bowl down. Yes, let's do it. Everyone was nodding, excited, ready to feast on Ox Mountain's corpse. I let them finish cheering, then dropped my bomb. We're not attacking Ox Mountain. Silence. We're going to help them fight the government army. Every jaw in the room hit the sand table. Yeah, I said what I said. And no, I haven't lost my mind. Probably. What? Help Ox Mountain fight the government? Did someone put drugs in your wine again? Everyone looked at me like I'd announced I was quitting banditry to become a Buddhist monk. Fatty was the loudest. They're our mortal enemies. We should help the army crush them, Sixth Boss muttered. If I was going to drug someone, I'd feed you 2 pounds of aphrodisiac and throw you in a wolf den. Ling Qiujuan shot Sixth Boss a death glare at the word aphrodisiac. He shut up real fast. Nobody mentions drugs around the boss lady. Sir Subject, let me ask you something, I said calmly. If that army came here instead, what happens? Fatty puffed up. We destroy them. We're stronger than ever. Fifth Boss slapped that down immediately. Are you insane? That's 1,000 professional soldiers with shields and armor. Last time 100 of them nearly broke through our gate with a shield wall our arrows couldn't penetrate. 1,000? With a nobleman's personal troops? We'd be done. You weren't even here. You don't know how much we've improved. I was in town watching their soldiers march in formation wearing plate armor. Your improvement means nothing against that. Both of you shut up, Sixth Boss snapped. Listen to Big Boss or listen to each other. Thank you, Sixth Boss. The only adult in the room besides me and Ling Qiujuan. Here's the math, I said. If the army destroys Ox Mountain, guess who's next? Us. Every bandit gang in the county gets wiped out one by one. And if you somehow beat this army, congratulations, you just embarrassed a Marquis's son. Daddy brings 10,000 soldiers next time. Game over. But if Ox Mountain survives, they stay the biggest target. The army stays focused on them. We stay invisible. We keep growing. And when we're finally strong enough, we eat Ox Mountain on our terms. Silence. Even Fatty's brain caught up. So what's the plan? He asked quietly. I pointed at the sand table. If the army takes the main road, Ox Mountain can probably hold. But if they split forces, main road as a distraction, small force through this valley to hit Ox Mountain's back, it's over. So we ambush the valley force, disguised as Ox Mountain fighters. Kill the flanking army, steal their equipment, and nobody ever knows Green Dragon was involved. Fatty's eyes went supernova. We get to fight the army and steal their gear, shields, armor, real weapons, everything they're carrying. Christmas comes early. I'm Ian, Fifth Boss, get back to town. Watch the army's movements. Everyone else, nobody leaves the mountain until this is over. Full lockdown, maximum training. They filed out. Ling Qiujuan stayed behind. You're worried about a spy? She said quietly. That's why the lockdown. There's definitely a government informant in the Stronghold. They went quiet after second boss died, but they're still here. Can't risk this plan leaking. Is it Fifth Boss? No. If he were the spy, he'd have known who the little Marquis was. Government informants get briefed. Instead, he came back with tavern gossip and incomplete intel. Plus, he's been here since the beginning. If he were a mole, Green Dragon would have been destroyed years ago. She nodded. I missed that. By the way, I grinned. You're up early. Feeling okay after last night. We went pretty hard for. What, 2 hours? Used every position at least 5 times? She turned crimson. I'm a martial artist. I've trained since childhood. My body is not as fragile as you think. Truth was, she'd expected to be bedridden all morning. Instead, she woke up feeling great. Even her old sword wounds were almost healed. Whether that was the herbal medicine or the cardio, she wasn't sure. Good. Because I need you to run the stronghold while I'm gone. I'm heading to that valley early to scout the terrain. If we get the ambush wrong, it's not just a defeat, it's a mass grave. I stood up and looked at the sand table one more time. Help your enemy, fight your other enemy. Steal from both. Blame nobody. Sun Tzu would be proud. Or horrified. Hard to tell with that guy. The valley near Ox Mountain had no name. In summer, it flooded with mountain runoff. In autumn, it was a muddy, rocky mess that only hunters and herb pickers ever used. Steep cliffs on both sides, boulders everywhere, dead vegetation clinging to the rocks. Perfect ambush territory. From intelligence, I knew exactly what the little Marquis would do. One force marches down the main road, loud, visible, drawing all of Ox Mountain's attention to the front. Second force sneaks through this valley, hits them from behind. Textbook pincer attack. A lesser commander would just storm the front gate. But this kid read his war books. He wouldn't waste the opportunity this terrain offered. We'd been hiding in the rocks for hours. The wind ripped through this valley like nature's air conditioner set to Arctic torture. My guys were frozen solid, huddled behind boulders, trying not to shiver loud enough to echo. Fatty, naturally, was complaining. Boss, we've been here forever. Intel says the whole army went down the main road. Over 1,000 soldiers, all heading straight for Ox Mountain. Maybe nobody's coming this way. Maybe we're freezing our butts off for nothing. Shut up and wait. But I'm starving. We only had dry biscuits this morning, and my stomach is. I said shut up. One more word, and I'll use you as bait. Here's why I was certain they'd come. I'd learned a lot about the Zheng family from Ling Qiujuan. The Marquis was a legendary war hero, decorated, respected, eventually betrayed by political rivals, but still powerful in this region. And his favorite son, this little Marquis, was a prodigy. Smart, trained in combat since childhood, devoured military strategy texts like novels. He wasn't here to play sheriff. He was here to prove he was his father's true heir. A kid like that doesn't take the obvious path. He takes the clever one. He'd see this valley on any decent map and immediately think, flanking route. Ling Qiujuan had spoken of him with genuine respect, and she didn't respect anyone easily. He was coming. I'd bet my life on it. Tell everyone. Nobody moves until I give the signal. Follow the plan exactly. And if you need to pee, do it in your pants. Fatty squirmed. Now that you mention it, I actually really need to, boss. Look, someone's entering the valley. Fatty froze mid-crouch, pants half undone. Sure enough, a small scouting party crept into the mouth of the valley. Behind them, dimly visible, a much larger force, all wearing civilian clothes to avoid detection. But the weapons and the way they moved gave them away instantly. Soldiers, real ones. And leading them, a young man with sharp eyes scanning the terrain. The little Marquis himself. He'd actually paused at the valley entrance, looked at the cliffs, considered the ambush potential. Smart kid. For a moment, I thought he might turn around. But his escorts, local deputies, laughed it off. These are just bandits, my lord. They can barely defend their own mountain. Ambush. Here, please, the kid nodded. You're right. I'm overthinking it. Mountain bandits aren't strategists. Oh, sweet summer child. You're about to learn that one of them very much is. He sent a small squad ahead, then followed with the main body. Right into my valley. Right between my cliffs. Right into the jaws of the trap. Fatty looked at me with saucer eyes, pants still compromised. I held up my fist. Wait. They came in. First a scouting party. 15 guys sprinting through the valley to check for danger. Fatty nearly blew the whole thing. They're here. Let's go. Those are scouts, you walnut. 15 guys means the main force is behind them. Nobody moves. The scouts looked around, saw nothing, and one ran back to give the all clear. The rest pushed through. Then the main body followed, 150, maybe 200 soldiers, with the little Marquis right in the middle. I watched from behind my pile of dead branches. These weren't regular deputies. They moved with discipline, eyes scanning the cliff walls, hands on weapons. Real soldiers. But they had no bows, no shields, traveling light for speed. Good. That's exactly what I was hoping for. I waited until they were deep in the kill zone. Then gave the hand signal. Scatter the leaves. My guys on one side of the valley dumped armfuls of crushed dry leaves into the wind. The breeze carried them straight down into the soldiers' faces. Hundreds of tiny leaf fragments hit their eyes simultaneously. Everyone started blinking, rubbing, squinting. Shoot. 40 arrows from one cliff wall. Soldiers dropped before they even knew what happened. The rest stumbled sideways, half blind, pressing against the opposite cliff for cover. The little Marquis was furious. He'd predicted this. He'd even sent scouts. And he still walked into it. I could practically see his ego cracking from up here. He peeked out, counted maybe 30 of us on one side, and made his decision fast. Charge that cliff. It's only 30 bandits. Overwhelm them. 100 soldiers scrambled up toward my guys on the left wall. That's when I played my second card. Hit them. The other side of the valley erupted. My remaining archers stood up on the right cliff and poured arrows into the backs of soldiers climbing the left cliff. They were completely exposed from behind, faces pressed to the rock. focused entirely on the threat above them. At this range, with targets that had been standing still for 30 seconds while my guys aimed, it was target practice. Bodies tumbled down the cliff wall like rocks in a landslide. The little marquis went pale. We divided our force into two groups and timed the reveals perfectly. First wave draws attention left. Second wave massacres from the right while everyone's looking the wrong direction. The crossfire made it impossible to climb either wall without getting shot from behind. 50 or 60 soldiers down in minutes. The survivors were pinned flat, couldn't lift their heads without catching an arrow from one side or the other. The valley floor was a chorus of screaming wounded, and my archers were still shooting, picking off the injured one by one. Retreat. Everyone out. Now, the little marquis's guards dragged him back toward the valley entrance. Smart kid. He recognized a lost position when he saw one. Fatty was going nuclear with excitement. Ha! Look at them run. Some army. Let me take the boys down there and finish them. Chase with what? We're almost out of arrows. Without ranged cover, it's hand-to-hand against trained soldiers who outnumber us. That's not bravery, that's suicide. I kicked him toward the valley floor. Get down there. Loot everything. Weapons, armor, anything useful. We've got minutes before they regroup. My guys swarmed down like vultures, stripping the fallen of swords, knives, gear, anything we could carry. Then we vanished toward Green Dragon before the dust settled. Meanwhile, at Ox Mountain's front gate, the main government force had arrived on schedule. 800 soldiers marching up the road in formation, banners flying, looking impressive. The commander was supposed to make a show of attacking while the little marquis hit from behind. But the signal from behind never came. No sounds of fighting from the valley. No rear assault. Nothing. The commander was confused. He'd already pushed his men halfway up the mountain. If he kept going without the flanking force, it was a straight frontal assault against desperate defenders on high ground. Suicide. Up on Ox Mountain, Gully didn't know about any of this. All he saw was an army coming straight at him. No escape. No surrender option. Fight or die? Brothers. They want to wipe us out. Let's show them what Ox Mountain is made of. Fire. Arrows rained down. The battle exploded. But without the little marquis hitting from behind, it was just a frontal grind. Exactly the kind of fight Ox Mountain could survive. All because 15 bandits with hunting bows and crushed leaves turned a genius military pincer into a one-sided disaster. You're welcome, Gully. You'll never know it was me. A scout came bursting in. Big boss. The government army retreated. And Ox Mountain actually chased them downhill and routed them. Everything went exactly as planned. The main army was only supposed to be a distraction. Without the little marquis hitting from behind, they had no real strategy. Just a slow grind uphill against desperate defenders. When word reached them that the flanking force got massacred in my valley, the whole operation collapsed. Ox Mountain survived. The government went home with their tails between their legs. And nobody knew Green Dragon was involved. Fatty was practically worshipping me at this point. Big boss, you're a prophet. You said they'd come through the valley, they did. You said the army would lose, they did. What do we do next? Take Ox Mountain. And then what? The army just got embarrassed. They're going to come back ANGRIR. If they show up and find us sitting in Ox Mountain's chair, who do you think they attack next? Us. We just traded one enemy for two. Oh, right. Ox Mountain stays alive. They stay the target. We stay invisible. I laid out the real takeaway from the battle. We won the valley because of surprise, and because they had no shields. If they'd been carrying proper equipment, our arrows would have bounced off. Our weapons are still garbage. Homemade bows, bamboo spears, scavenged swords. Against armored soldiers with shield formations, we're dead. The room got quiet. Reality check delivered. So here's what we do. Melt down our extra swords. We've got more than enough now, and reforge them into iron arrowheads and spear points. Build more bows. Replace the wooden gate walls with stone. Real fortifications. Fatty and Sixth Boss looked at each other blankly. Boss, we don't know how to work metal or build stone walls. Then go kidnap people who do. There are blacksmiths in every village. Stonemasons, carpenters. Grab them, bring them up the mountain, put them to work. You're bandits. Stealing people is literally in the job description. Do I have to teach you everything? Fatty's eyes went wide. Wait, we can kidnap skilled workers? I've been kidnapping the wrong people this whole time. Then the idiot opened his fat mouth. Hey, while we're at it, can we grab some women too? The boys have been, slap. Ling Qiujuan's palm connected with Fatty's face so fast it broke the sound barrier. The woman who'd originally been kidnapped to be a mountain bride was not amused by the suggestion. Say that again, and I'll RIP your tongue out. Fatty slunk away rubbing his cheek, muttering something about, just asking. I laughed quietly. Ling Qiujuan was a kitten around me, but a tiger around everyone else. Perfect management structure. Though Fatty had accidentally touched on a real issue. You can't run a bandit gang like a monastery forever. These guys needed outlets. Fifth boss was already setting up businesses in town. Why not at a brothel? Good income, great intelligence source, keeps the men happy. A bandit-owned brothel. Now there's a business model. I made a mental note to visit the county seat myself soon. Also, sixth boss. Those wild animals we caught in the traps? Don't kill them all. Pen them up. Goats, chickens, wild pigs. If we can breed them, we'll never worry about meat again. Get the craftsmen to build enclosures when they arrive. Then I noticed Ling Qiujuan staring at me. Not angry, not flirty, just studying me, like I was a puzzle she couldn't solve. Shen San, who are you really? The question I'd been waiting for. Military strategy, battlefield medicine, economic planning, animal husbandry, espionage networks, psychological warfare, infrastructure development. All from a useless rich boy who could barely walk straight 2 weeks ago. She wasn't stupid. The math didn't add up, and she knew it. I looked at her and smiled. What do I even say? Oh, I'm actually a dead special forces captain from a parallel dimension where people have phones and nuclear weapons. Yeah, that'd go over great. Who are you? Shen San. Ling Qiujuan hit me with the big question. She'd been watching quietly this whole time. The training systems, the strategy, the battlefield medicine, the fortification plans, the economic development, and her brain finally couldn't reconcile useless rich boy with military genius transforming a bandit camp into a professional operation. Since you arrived, this place has completely changed. Stockpiled supplies, trained fighters, tactical innovations nobody here has ever seen. You set up reward-based training, and these lazy bandits are voluntarily exercising. Against armored soldiers, you already have a counter-strategy. And your fighting skills, I hate admitting it, are beyond mine. She locked eyes with me. You were supposedly a worthless young master who couldn't even stand up for himself. If you had these abilities all along, why did you let the Shun family walk all over you? Sharp woman. Too sharp. What was I supposed to say? I'm a reincarnated special forces commander from a world with helicopters and instant noodles. She'd think I'd been eating poisonous mushrooms. Some things are better left unknown. Just trust that I won't hurt you. She studied me for a long moment. Fine. If you won't tell me, I won't ask again. I chose to follow you. Whatever you are, I'll. She trailed off, suddenly embarrassed by what she'd been about to say. You'll what? Nothing. You're acceptable. That's all. I grinned. Get dressed. We're going to town. Town? The county seat. Time to see it with my own eyes. The road to the county capital was surprisingly lively. Merchants everywhere, caravans heading north and south, traders haggling on the roadside. The county sat in a flat plain between mountain ranges, straddling major trade routes. No wonder bandits thrived here. It was an all-you-can-eat buffet. But the real showstopper was Ling Qiujuan. She'd changed into a woman's outfit at my request. Pink dress, hair flowing down her back with a ribbon, porcelain skin practically glowing against the pastel fabric. On the mountain, she was a sword-wielding terror in men's clothes. Down here, she was the most devastatingly beautiful woman I'd ever seen in 2 lifetimes. Every man on the road was walking into things. Back in my world, girls wore hanfu for cosplay photos. Cute, sure. But seeing the real thing on a genuine, ancient beauty with a body that could stop traffic and eyes that could cut steel, I hit the jackpot. This county magistrate, I asked casually while trying not to stare, how is he still employed? The place is crawling with bandits. His older brother is Zhang Hong, the regional governor. That's why. Wait, the county boss is the governor's little brother? Isn't that position supposed to be appointed by the imperial court? That was before. The emperor hasn't held morning court in ages. Nobody cares about proper appointments anymore. Beautiful. A crumbling empire with no oversight. For bandits, that's basically a grand opening sale. Then something caught my eye. A man sitting by a tree on the roadside. Big, muscular, looking like absolute garbage, bloody, exhausted, dejected. I recognized him instantly. Wang Ba, Ox Mountain's #1 fighter. The guy who charged up my mountain, got wrapped in thorn grass, shot full of arrows, and crawled home with shafts sticking out of his butt. But what was he doing here? Alone? Looking like a homeless wreck? That's the guy who led the night raid, I told Ling Qiujun quietly. The one I smacked with vines. Her eyes narrowed. Ox Mountain's man? Here? Why? And why does he look like that? Good questions. If he was still Ox Mountain's fighter, he'd be back on the mountain recovering. Instead, he was sitting by a road looking like a dog that got kicked out of the house. Did Gully blame him for the failed attack and kick him out? That'd be ironic. I destroyed his mission and got him fired. Let's go say hello. I hopped off my horse and walked toward him. So here's the backstory on Wang Ba. After his catastrophic night raid on my mountain, 200 men in, 30-something out, arrows in his butt, he limped back to Ox Mountain expecting a warm welcome. Instead, Gully was furious. Nearly 200 men lost because Wang Ba ignored every single order. Then the government attacked, and Wang Ba was too injured to actually fight. Just stood around waving his sword and yelling encouragement from safely inside the gate. Real heroic. Gully had finally had enough. Pack your stuff? Get out. So the mighty warrior who was supposed to be Ox Mountain's secret weapon got fired after 2 weeks. Banditry career, brief and spectacular failure. Nowhere to go. He remembered his sister ran a small tavern in the county seat with her husband. Hadn't seen her in years, too ashamed after the whole, sleeping with my employer's wife and murdering my way out incident. But desperate times call for awkward family reunions. He was sitting by the road, arrow wounds flaring up, looking like life's punching bag, when I strolled over. Hey friend, we're heading to the county seat with all this silver. I patted my very obvious, very full money bag. Could you show us the way? His eyes went from dead to alive in about half a second. He looked at me, young, seemingly naive. Looked at the bulging money sack. Looked at Ling Qiujun, gorgeous woman in a pink dress. His brain did exactly the math I wanted. Money, beautiful woman, easy target equals my lucky day. Why, of course, young sir. I happen to be heading there myself. Just follow me to grab my luggage. He led me into the trees behind the road. Ling Qiujun waited outside, rolling her eyes. Before we'd left, I'd whispered to her, the real hunter always disguises himself as prey. 2 minutes later, Wang Ba stumbled out of the forest with a freshly rearranged face, and I was dusting off my hands behind him. Everything you just told me better be true. Or else, big brother, I swear on my life. If I'd known who you were, I'd never have tried anything. You're the first person who's beaten me in a fair fight. I respect that. I'd never snitch to the authorities. That's not how a real man. Wang Ba, Ling Qiujun interrupted. It's Wang Ba, with the dominator character. Not the turtle one. Poor guy? Having a name that sounds like turtle in Chinese is rough. Especially when you've just been beaten up by the guy whose mountain you failed to invade. Turns out his sister's tavern could be useful. We needed a place to stay, and I still hadn't connected with fifth boss in town. Perfect landing spot. Here, take a horse. I tossed him the reins. He looked like I'd given him a diamond. Thank you, big boss. Call me third master. One big boss inside those walls, and we're all dead. I pulled Ling Qiujun onto my horse, arms around her, and we rode toward the county seat. We barely made it before the gates closed. The guards were rushing everyone through, too lazy for proper checks. Lucky, but walking through that gate sobered me up fast. These city walls were at least 10 meters high. Smooth stone, covered in moss, impossible to climb. Soldiers patrolling the top in regular intervals. Dozens of guards per gate. And this was just a tiny county seat, the lowest level of government. Every fantasy novel makes it sound like martial arts experts just leap over walls. Absolute garbage. In my old life, my special forces team could scale a building, but buildings have ledges, pipes, windowsills. These walls were designed specifically to be unclimbable. Slick, tall, manned, and lethal. The county magistrate was apparently useless at everything except fortification. He'd raised and reinforced these walls significantly since taking office. One job done well out of pure paranoia. Even Li Yunlong needed an entire military district's worth of troops to crack one county city. And he had artillery. Without overwhelming force or an inside job, taking a walled city was basically impossible. Another reality check filed away for future planning. I followed Wang Ba through the streets toward his sister's tavern, my brain already calculating how this city fit into my long-term plans. Build high walls. Store deep grain. Delay becoming king. But also, know your enemy's walls before you ever think about knocking. Wang Ba's sister's old tavern had apparently leveled up. We wandered around the county seat for ages. Wang Ba couldn't find the place because it had moved from a tiny hole in the wall to a full-blown two-story restaurant called Fortune Tavern. What happened to the little pub? Wang Ba was baffled. His brother-in-law, Zhao Fuguwei, literally, Zhao rich and noble, because apparently in this world your name is your destiny, came rushing over from behind the counter. Big brother. Come in, come in. Sit down. The place had a dozen tables downstairs and private rooms upstairs. For a guy who ran a hole in the wall a year ago, this was quite the upgrade. How'd you afford this? Wang Ba asked. Oh, had some help from a benefactor. Vague answer. Filed that away. Wang Ba's sister was resting due to illness and wouldn't be seen tonight. Another thing filed away. Zhao Fuguwei was aggressively hospitable. Best food, best room, biggest smiles. Which immediately made my spider sense tingle. In my experience, people who are too nice either want something from you or are setting you up. After dinner, he gave us a private room in the back courtyard. Nice gesture. Suspicious gesture. Get some sleep, I told Ling Qiujuan. She'd already made the bed. Then I stacked chairs against the door, grabbed my blanket, and set up camp right at the entrance with my dagger. Ling Qiujuan bit her lip. She'd been expecting different sleeping arrangements. Don't overthink it. That brother-in-law is way too friendly. Wang Ba is still a wild card, and we're bandits sleeping inside a walled city surrounded by government soldiers. Tonight we stay alert. Clothes on. You sleep on the bed. I sleep at the door. She nodded and lay down, looking a little disappointed but understanding. I killed the lamp and lay there thinking. This county seat had opened my eyes to some uncomfortable realities. The walls alone were 10 meters of, you're not getting in here without an army. Even if every bandit gang in the region united, they couldn't crack this city. Meanwhile, Green Dragon Stronghold could hold maybe 300 people maximum. To really grow, we'd need either a massive natural fortress, like the legendary water margins Liangshan, or an actual city. Both seemed impossible right now. Good locations were already occupied by other gangs. And cities were basically impregnable, without siege equipment this world didn't even have yet. But I'm special forces. We don't do frontal assaults. We do infiltration, sabotage, inside jobs. There's always a way in. I just haven't figured it out yet. While I was mentally drafting invasion plans for a city I hadn't even fully explored yet, I heard it. Footsteps. Outside. Soft. Deliberate. Multiple people. I was on my feet with the dagger before the second step landed. Behind me, Ling Qiujuan sat up simultaneously. Her instincts were sharp too. I held up a hand. Stay put. Crept to the door crack. Peered through. Dark figures. Moving toward our room. Called it. Too friendly. Too generous. Nobody gives their best room to strangers without a reason. I tightened my grip on the blade. Here we go again. Can't even get one peaceful night's sleep in this entire stupid dynasty. I was lying in the dark, dagger ready, watching shadows through the door crack. It was Zhao Fuguwei, Wang Ba's wonderful, hospitable brother-in-law, directing 2 workers to pile firewood and oil around our room. And around Wang Ba's room. Hurry up. Stack more on that side. My brother-in-law can fight, so make sure the door is completely blocked. And pour more oil. Don't let the fire spread to the main building, though. This guy fed us dinner with a smile and was now trying to roast us alive in our sleep. Hospitality rating, 0 stars. They stacked the wood against our door and started to light it. I silently moved the chairs, ripped the door open, and dropped both workers before they could blink. Throat cuts. Silent. Clean. Zhao Fuguwei was 10 feet away. My boot hit his chest before his brain processed what happened. Dagger at his throat. The scream died in his windpipe. Ling Qiujuan was already out. Watch him. He screams, he dies. I ran to Wang Ba's room. Firewood was already piled high around it. Kicked the door in. This idiot was snoring. Sound asleep. The man who survived arrows, cliff falls, and thorn grass. About to be killed by his own brother-in-law and a nap. I dumped half a teapot on his face. Why, third master? Why are you in my? Because your brother-in-law is trying to barbecue us. Get up. He stumbled outside, saw the dead workers, the firewood, the oil, and Ling Qiujuan holding a blade to Zhao Fugui's neck. His confusion turned to volcanic rage in about 2 seconds. He grabbed Zhao Fugui by the collar and slapped him so hard it echoed off the walls. You tried to kill me? Where's my sister? We dragged him inside for questioning. The story that came out was one of the most disgusting things I've heard in either lifetime. The county magistrate's eldest son, a spoiled, depraved piece of garbage, had spotted Wang Ba's sister, Wang Alian, at the old tavern. He'd tricked Zhao Fugui into leaving, then forced himself on her. And it didn't stop there. He kept coming back, again and again, escalating the degradation each time. Zhao Fugui knew. Not only did he do nothing, he actively helped, because the payment was good. He told his own wife to endure it. He accepted the silver. He watched the magistrate's son destroy her piece by piece, until she couldn't take it anymore and hanged herself. Zhao Fugui took the hush money, bought this fancy tavern, and started his new life built on his dead wife's suffering. When Wang Ba showed up unexpectedly, Zhao Fugui panicked. If Wang Ba ever found out the truth, he was a dead man. So he decided to get Wang Ba drunk and burn the evidence, including us, since we were inconvenient witnesses. His own wife. He sold his own wife, then profited from her death, then tried to murder her brother to cover it up. Wang Ba was shaking. Not with sadness, not yet. That would come later. Right now it was pure, white-hot rage. I stood in the corner, dagger still in hand, watching this pathetic worm grovel on the floor. The county magistrate's son. The same magistrate whose brother was the regional governor. The same governor Ling Qiujuan wanted dead. This rotten family tree just kept producing monsters. I looked at Ling Qiujuan. She looked at me. Same thought. No words needed. These people needed to be dealt with. Not today. Not tomorrow. But eventually. And when that day came, it wouldn't be pretty. My sister is dead. Wang Ba's world collapsed. He'd raised that girl himself after their parents died. Put her in what he thought was a safe, boring life. A little tavern, a simple husband. And it ended with her hanging from a rope because her own husband sold her to a monster. Wang Ba kicked Zhao Fugui so hard the man bounced off the wall like a rag doll. Ling Qiujuan was seething. What kind of man hands his wife to someone else? He doesn't deserve to be called human. I stood in the corner, arms crossed, saying nothing. In my mind, Zhao Fugui was already dead the moment he stacked firewood against my door. This was just the formality. Third master, lend me your blade. I want to see if his heart is as black as his soul. I handed over the dagger. No hesitation from Wang Ba. One thrust. Chest. Done. Zhao Fugui twitched once and checked out permanently. Then the big tough fighter who'd survived arrows and cliff falls and thorn grass dropped to his knees and sobbed like a child. Ugly crying. Snot and everything. I was surprised. Underneath all that muscle and bravado, the man actually had a heart. Points for that. He stood up, wiped his face, and knelt before me. Third master, you saved my life tonight. I owe you everything. You're going after the magistrate's son? Yes. Even if it kills me. Even if I have to fight through the entire garrison. My sister's spirit won't rest until, and you'll die in about 30 seconds. Wounded, alone, inside a walled city full of soldiers and the little Marquis troops. Very dramatic. Very stupid. Very dead. He stared at me. Give me a few days. I'll find you a way to kill him that doesn't involve your funeral. Deal? He pressed his forehead to the floor. If you can make that happen, my life belongs to you. Forever. Good. Now go dig a hole and bury the mess. And wake up everyone in this building. Within minutes, every employee of Fortune Tavern was standing in the courtyard in their pajamas, blinking in confusion. 3 waiters, 1 head chef with 3 kitchen helpers, and 1 manager. Plus the 2 dead guys, minus 1 dead owner. I stepped forward. Your boss, Zhao Fugui, has unfortunately passed away from a sudden illness tonight. Very tragic. Completely natural. Before dying, he transferred ownership of this establishment to me. From now on, you call me third master. Business continues as normal tomorrow. Any questions? Dead silence. Confused faces. The sudden illness that left blood on the courtyard stones wasn't fooling anyone, but nobody was dumb enough to say so. Except one guy. The manager, Zhao Hu, stepped forward with the confidence of a man who'd watched too many courtroom dramas. Excuse me, but who are you? Our boss was perfectly healthy tonight. Now he's dead and you're in charge? That's suspicious. Also, he owed me 50 silver taels. If anything, this tavern belongs to me. And if you don't agree, well, I'm sure the county magistrate would love to hear about this. He actually threatened me. With the magistrate. Inside a building where I was holding a bloody knife and standing next to a grieving killer who'd just murdered his own brother-in-law. Read the room, buddy. I don't respond well to threats. Wang Ba's fist hit Zhao Hu's stomach so hard the man folded in half like a lawn chair. Crumpled to the ground, gasping. You lot. I pointed at the terrified waiters. Dig a hole under that tree. They grabbed shovels and dug like their lives depended on it. Which they did. Wang Ba. Bury him alive. Wang Ba grabbed Zhao Hu by the ankle and tossed him into the pit like a sack of garbage. The man tried scrambling out. Wang Ba kicked him back down. Started shoveling dirt. Anyone else have opinions about the new management? Silence. Beautiful, cooperative silence. From now on, you work for me. Follow instructions, you're fine. Get creative, and there's plenty of room in that hole. Every single employee stood frozen, watching a man get buried alive. Whatever questions they had about the ownership transition died right there with Zhao Hu. Qiujuan, bring the silver. She came back with a pouch. I spotted the skinny kid. The waiter Zhao Fugue had been yelling at when we first arrived. You, skinny dog, come here. The kid shuffled forward, shaking so hard his teeth were chattering. Relax. This silver is a welcome gift. Split it among everyone. And starting tomorrow, all your wages are doubled. Do your jobs well, and you'll be taken care of. The kid took the money like he expected it to explode. Then he looked at my face, and something clicked. Maybe this new boss wasn't only terrifying. Maybe there were benefits. Everyone got their share. Wang Ba patted down the last shovel of dirt. Then, in perfect unison, every single person dropped to their knees. Fear and money. The two pillars of instant loyalty. Go to bed. Tomorrow, business as usual. If anyone asks about Zhao Fugue, the tavern changed owners. That's all they need to know. They scattered like mice. I sent Wang Ba to rest and heal up, then finally, went back to the room with Ling Qiujuan. This time I actually got on the bed. Now can we sleep? She slapped my hand away. First, we talk. About what? You're too ruthless, Shen San. Those two workers were just following orders. The manager only asked reasonable questions. You killed 3 people and buried a 4th without blinking. Fair criticism. And I noticed she'd been smart enough not to say any of this in front of others. If I'd hesitated at the door, those workers would have screamed. The whole building would have come running. We're bandits in a government city. Either we kill 3 people quietly, or we fight 20 people loudly, and the city garrison shows up. Which scenario has fewer deaths? She went quiet. And Zhao Hu was going to run straight to the magistrate. One loose thread unravels everything. Him jumping out actually saved me the trouble of identifying the troublemaker, she sighed. I know. You're right. I'm just still adjusting. I noticed something about you. Since you stopped being boss, you've been softening. Becoming more yourself. I actually like it. It means you were never really a bandit at heart. She bit her lip and said nothing. Now, about the magistrate's son, we lure him outside the city and deal with him there. Can't risk connecting it to this tavern. And about your target, the governor, his brother the magistrate, is right here. Want to do a 2-for-1 deal? And oh, don't you dare. Not with the little Marquis army still in town. Promise me you won't do anything reckless. Fine. I promise. My hands had been conducting independent operations during this entire conversation. The undergarment's back strap came undone with a gentle pull. It's almost dawn, she protested weakly. Who says we need a whole night? I whispered something in her ear. Her eyes went wide. That works too. Only one way to find out. Let's just say we found out. And it worked very well. Next morning, up early, Ling Qiujuan was still sleeping. I'd only given her a brief anatomy lesson before dawn, so she wasn't too wiped out. I went to the courtyard, splashed cold water on my face, and ran through the Black Dragon 18 forms. Military combat technique, banned from regular training because it caused too many accidents during sparring. In special forces, we called those features, not bugs. Every strike designed to kill. Perfect for a world where everyone's trying to stab you. Wang Ba stumbled out looking like he hadn't slept either. Watch me move through the forms with wide eyes. Third master, what I asked that? Doesn't look like any martial art I've seen. I just smiled. Not explaining that one. His arrow wounds needed a real doctor. The problem? Doctors see stab and arrow wounds. They report to authorities. Bandits can't exactly walk into a clinic. Wangba told me that after his failed raid on my mountain, half the survivors who made it back to Ox Mountain died within days from infected wounds. Guli just dumped the bodies behind the mountain. No medicine, no doctors, no treatment. Just tough it out and hope you don't die. That was the state of healthcare in the bandit world. Another item on my to-do list, medical supplies. Non-combat casualties were completely preventable deaths. Wasteful and stupid. The tavern opened for business. The staff were surprisingly fine. After last night's initial terror, they'd apparently had a group meeting and decided I was an upgrade. Old boss screamed at them daily and paid peanuts. New boss gave them more silver in one night than they'd earned in years, doubled their wages, and only killed people who deserved it. From their perspective, this was a promotion. Skinny Dog, the little waiter, was practically glowing. Kid had never been treated with basic decency before. I left Ling Qiujuan in charge of the tavern. Watch the staff. If anything goes wrong, set a fire as a signal and get out. I'll find you. Where are you going? To find fifth boss. Where would he be? Where do you think a bunch of bandits pretending to be civilians spend their free time in a city? She stared at me. The brothel, her face froze. Think about it. A brothel is the perfect cover. Nobody questions rough-looking men in a brothel. It's great for intelligence, loose lips everywhere. And our guys would look more suspicious in a tea house or bookshop. Can you imagine pockmarked face browsing poetry? She was not amused. Relax. After experiencing the ocean, a puddle holds no interest. I kissed her cheek and walked out before she could throw something at me. Behind me, I heard her mutter, he's going to a brothel, and somehow made it sound romantic. After the ocean, puddles hold no interest. What does that even? She stood there for a long time, replaying that line in her head. Yeah, I'm smooth like that. Now, time to find fifth boss, tour the county's finest entertainment establishment, and figure out how to murder a magistrate's son without starting a war. Just another Tuesday in my new life. The county seat was bigger than I expected. For an ancient town, this place was bustling. Merchants everywhere, street vendors shouting, people haggling, pure chaotic energy. I loved it. First time since transmigrating that I felt genuinely alive. Just a guy walking through a busy market, anonymous, nobody trying to kill me for once. Nobody here knew my face. The old Shen San never left his village. And Ling Qiujuan? People knew Green Dragon's boss was a woman, but nobody had a clue what she looked like. The wanted posters in this era were basically abstract art, as useful as describing someone as has a face. I headed for the red light district to find fifth boss. Arrived to find everything closed. Turns out brothels don't open until afternoon, because apparently even ancient pleasure workers need their beauty sleep. Right. I'm an idiot. So I wandered. Couldn't find a tea house. Those apparently hadn't been invented yet in this timeline. Ended up in a random small tavern instead. The irony. I now owned a tavern, and here I was giving my money to the competition. The wine was watery garbage. Even weaker than what we drank on the mountain. Which gave me an idea. If I could figure out distillation, I could make real liquor. Stronger stuff would sell for 10 times the price. Every transmigration novel does this, and for good reason. Alcohol is the ultimate product. No marketing needed, infinite demand, addictive by nature. I was happily sketching out my alcohol empire business plan when 4 thugs burst through the door. Innkeeper, where's our money? They slammed the counter. The owner scrambled out, handed over silver, and got yelled at for being too slow. The thugs demanded free wine and swaggered upstairs to a private room. Protection racket. In MY County, where I own a business. Who are those clowns? I asked the innkeeper. Loyalty gang. Bunch of street thugs who work for the magistrate's son. Nobody dares cross them. Complain and you end up in jail until your family goes bankrupt paying for your release. The magistrate's son again. That degenerate's tentacles were everywhere. Not only did he assault women, he ran an extortion ring through his personal gang of lowlifes. Which meant, my tavern was probably on their collection route too. Oh hell no. Before I could plan my hostile takeover of the local organized crime scene, crashing sounds erupted from upstairs. Screaming. Bodies hitting walls. The innkeeper went pale. Oh no. I forgot there was another customer up there. One thug came flying down the stairs, crashed into the innkeeper, and they both tumbled to the floor. More screaming from above. You dare touch me? Do you know who we are? I know you're annoying. Get out. A young man casually walked downstairs, twisting one thug's arm behind his back. He kicked the guy into the pile of his friends like a bowling ball. I nearly choked on my wine. It was the little Marquis, the military prodigy, the kid whose flanking army I'd ambushed in the valley just days ago. He was sitting in the same tavern as me, alone, beating up local gangsters over breakfast. What are the odds? You'll pay for this. Don't you dare leave. The thugs crawled out, threatening revenge. Hilarious. They had no idea they'd just picked a fight with someone who commanded 1,000 professional soldiers. The magistrate's son's street gang versus a Marquis' heir. That's like a chihuahua threatening a tiger. The little Marquis scanned the now empty room. Everyone had fled except the trembling innkeeper behind the counter. And me, sitting in my corner, calmly sipping the world's worst wine like nothing happened. He looked at me curiously. I looked at him. The guy I ambushed in a valley. The military genius I nearly killed with crushed leaves and hunting arrows. Walking straight toward my table. This is either the beginning of a very useful friendship or the shortest remaining lifespan in Chinese history. Sips wine casually.